The following is a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club. Sunday was far from restful, with every battle going to playoffs at the American Cup in St. Louis. In the Elimination Bracket, Levon Aronian flexed his Blitz muscles to win his match and advance along with Tatev Abrahamyan in the women's section. Reigning champion Alice Lee is poised to defend her title, with the victorious Wesley So hoping to earn his first. The champs are getting a much-needed day off while their final challengers are decided. Day 7 of Fantastic Chess coming up next.
Hello everyone and welcome to day 7 of the American Cup. Today is Monday and I'm wearing my American Cup blue merch, but no way I'm feeling the Monday blues because today we will see 2 rapid fire games and the players will decide who's gonna be in the finals of the American Cup 2026. Stay with us because the battles begin right now.
Hello everyone and welcome to the American Cup. I'm your host Nazi Paikidze and I'm here with my amazing co-host Yasser Seirawan.
Nazi, it's been such a great pleasure to be calling the action with you and Maurice. I've been just enjoying
Yasser,
every day.
I can't believe it's coming to an end.
It's
we have
getting
only a few
there.
days left.
Wow. Hello everyone and welcome to our show. Today, pardon me, let's do that again. The winners brackets have been decided. But today, it's all about the elimination bracket and who is going to make it into the grand finals. Nasi, do the honors. Tell us the results.
Let's have a look at yesterday's matches and what happened. Champions Bracket playoffs, Wesley saw Fabiano. They drew their first game, but then Wesley managed to defeat Fabiano with the black pieces, and what an amazing result that was. In the ladies, Alice Lee took down Carissa with 2-0. Absolutely amazing result by Alice, which means that Alice is now in the finals. She gets a bonus of $9,000. Big congratulations to her.
Absolutely.
And in the Open, it's Wesley who is a winner of the Champions Bracket bonus, enjoying his extra $15,000.
A stunner to be sure.
And let's talk about the format, Yasser. Here we have Elimination Bracket playoffs. In Game 1, Tatev won. Then in Game 2, Anna won. They moved on to the second Blitz playoff, and it was only the last Blitz game that Tatev managed to win and knock out Anna Sargsyan.
What a back and forth match that was.
In the Open, Levon Aronian managed to defeat a Liang in just the first Blitz playoff.
Let's do the format.
Let's do that. We have an 8-player double elimination bracket, no draw offers allowed, and since today we only have rapid games, I'll focus on that. They'll play 2 rapid games with time control of 25 minutes and 10-second increment. If that's a tie, they'll play Blitz playoff with 3-minute and 2-second increment. If that's still a tie, then we'll see in Armageddon.
And today, day 7, this is what we have in store.
Right, the Champions Bracket gets a rest day. Alice and Wesley enjoying their rest day today, and we'll see 2 rapid games in the Elimination Bracket, possibly Blitz playoffs as well.
And Maurice, good to see you, my friend. Tell us how these finalists in the Elimination Bracket match up with one another.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, guys. Well, we have some surprises down in this elimination bracket. A couple of names you might have said, wait, how did they end up here? And then some other names that are thanking their lucky stars. They should go to Vegas based on what made them get to this point. Let's just take a look at what we're talking about. And first of all, it's this matchup between Carissa and Tatev Abrahamyan. The number 1 seed and the number 5 seed in the event. You see there that Carissa has had the measure of her 5 wins, but still 2 losses and 4 draws. This is their classical matchup. We say classical because, in fact, this is their very first time ever playing rapid chess against one another. And you may be a little surprised to see Carissa needing to survive at this point. And we'll just take a look at her journey here because She, the 4-time U.S. Women's Champion, 3 back-to-back. But you see her all smiles here. She wasn't all smiles yesterday when her good friend Carissa knocked her down to this elimination bracket with a 2-0 score. As a matter of fact, she's going to have to get her act together to try to win this one so she can get maybe a measure of revenge against her good friend. On the other side is Tatev Abrahamyan. She survived what we thought was really dirt being put on her in the grave. I mean, somehow that game she should have lost against her good friend Ana Sargsyan, but she is here now to try to do battle to see if she can get to the next phase, which would be a first for her to be able to possibly win, that is, the whole thing. She has actually been to the semifinal stage before, coming up as a runner-up. Now, in the open section, we have one of these legendary battles. They've been battling for so many years. We're only showing their rapid matchup, where you see that Levon actually has a 12-8 lead. These multiple games, they played so many classical and blitz games as well. This is something that anywhere in the world you can go, everybody will want to watch. We get it right here. But Fabiano Caruana sitting here, well, he was cruising in the first part of the event until he got hit by Wesley So when he was up. He won the first classical game and lost the second one, unceremoniously hit in the Blitz playoff as well. He's going to try to win this one so he can also get revenge against Wesley for putting him down into the basement. And someone who was just happy all around, always all smiles, is Levon Aronian. He counts himself fortunate. So many times he's made a few mistakes here and there, and then a big one here and there as well. But he manages to take the punches and come back always. And he said it, look, I'm just having fun getting warmed up. Well, he's ready right now. He better be ready because this is a big elimination matchup. These two have won this event before. Can they get to the grand final so they can get a shot at winning it again? Guys?
Absolutely. Thank you, Maurice. Interesting to see our #1 seeds fighting for their lives, and that's about to happen. But such an elite field deserves elite prizes. Oh, first we're going to do the pairings.
Yes, let's
the
one
colors.
more time.
Let's just check the colors. I apologize.
Just to see who starts with the white pieces. And in the women's bracket, that's Carissa who gets first white against Tatev Abrahamyan in their 2-game rapid match. In the open, I believe that's Fabiano who gets white pieces against Levon Aronian. And these two have played in the American Cup so many times against each other. 25-game matches, right? We'll see who gets eliminated today and who goes into the finals. And now
let's talk about the money.
Let's have a look. And the women's total prize fund is $150,000. First place takes home $40,000. Second place $30,000. Just beautiful prizes for everybody. And champions bracket bonus, which we already know went to Alice Lee, $9,000.
Very, very nice. And in the opens prize.
Total prize fund here is $250,000. First place winner takes home $75,000. Second place $55,000. Big prizes for everybody, and the bonus $15,000 went to Wesley So.
Absolutely.
As we see players arriving and getting wounded, it's Carissa.
Double checked. Check her shoes. She looks very, very suspicious.
That's Maya, our arbiter.
Yes.
I was going to say the playing hall looks kind of empty, but it's because we only have 2 matches today.
Exactly.
It's going to be only 4 players and 2 rapid matches.
You may have been hearing, but there was a tournament downstairs from them yesterday that was really well attended, so much so we were wondering how many tournaments there were. But, there was a lot of players in the lower floor.
Yeah, the newly renovated St. Louis Chess Club is so big, and there's so many rooms where a lot of different events can happen at the same time. And
two good friends off the board.
Say, Maurice was mentioning in his speech that friends.
But on the board,
friends playing each other.
They are good competitors, fierce competitors, and they have played all over the world as well. But it's marvelous to see them doing battle here in the St. Louis Chess Club, the newly renovated chess club, where we feel like we're making history all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It really does feel that way.
How do you like Levon's shirt today?
I
I think
love
it's
it.
a new one.
I love the batik. I think batik Indonesian shirts are some of my absolute favorites.
We should point out that Levon is assisting Fabi in his quest for the candidate's title, winning the candidate. So here is someone who has been intimately involved with Fabi's opening preparation. And yet, here it is. They have to compete against each other. So you may see a little bit of avoidance of theory, whatever they have been working on. This is a trusted confidant, more than just friend, trusted confidant that he has to play against. And here we see Carissa and Tatev. Tatev is, she's usually a little bit, how should I say, keeping it close to the vest in terms of her emotions. But she has made it clear she considers Carissa a difficult opponent. Likeable, to be sure. You see them all smiles there. But Carissa has definitely made it tough on her. We'll see what they can do now as the battle begins.
And let's start with the ladies as Carissa's opened up 1e4 and d2, d3. So a little bit more traditional. Oh, knight c6.
As you said, traditional.
And then instantly. Normally, when you put your knight on c6, it's an indication you're going to capture on e4 and follow it up with e5, more or less what Anna Zatansky did.
Against Carissa.
Yes. But I, as black, I like to see white play the move g2, g3 before I capture on e4. So it's sort of like you need a good move right now, right?
What are the options? Oh, immediately e5.
Immediately e5. I'm not a fan of this move because I do feel that after captures, the queen is a little bit exposed. Let me just check the most recent games, whether or not
There's
e5
not too many games here. Yasser White has played c3 and g3 against it.
Well, knight f6. Well, actually, truth be told, e5 is the second most popular move. A third most popular move is bishop to c5, and then, of course, the immediate d4. But e5, and surprisingly for me, e takes d5 is only the fifth most popular move. According to my database, c2, c3 is the most popular move with the intention of playing b4. A little bit of an expansion, but also playing to target this pawn with b5. Once you play b4, the bishop could come out to b2. I'm a little bit surprised that captures, queen takes, and g3.
Seems the most natural response to e5.
Absolutely, because I can imagine that you would want to bring your bishop out and then maybe drop back with the queen. But it's going to be a tempo.
Yes, sir. Look at Carissa's move a3. That might just be a novelty.
Let me just double check. These days, it's sort of like you have to be sure, right?
Yep, a3.
A3.
Oh, it's one game.
No, you see? And how's this for an answer to a3? And I think it's a decent answer. d5.
So idea behind a3 is still b4, correct? So d4 makes sense. Just shut down the diagonal so the white bishop on b2 is not so great.
Exactly. D4, b4, bishop b2, and again, just as you were saying, shut down. I don't want to reach for the a pawn. I don't want to play the move a5. And I would probably find myself drawn to de and knight f6. We're going to keep an eye on this game. We're going to switch over to the open section as Fabi.
So Indian opening in this game.
How about that? Fabi has played just literally everything under the sun, and he's done it also as black. But I don't really remember him playing the Queen C2 Nimzo Indian line, a favorite of mine. But let's be frank, Garry Kasparov really rewrote the entire chapter of the ECO, the Encyclopedia of Chess Openings with Queen C2. I liked, in my career, facing C5, D takes C5. I like this. There was an endgame that a lot of people played against me. I don't know why. I also tried to play it once as black against Luke Van Velde, not successfully, I should say. But for a lot of years, this was the go-to position that white players and black players played often.
With the king on d2.
With the king on d2. It's sort of like a lot of my games featured a white king on d2. None of this happened because after a3, bishop takes, we did not see knight c6. We saw d5, bishop g5, bishop e7, e2, e3. And the idea behind this is you're playing a queen's gambit decline, but not exactly. You've already committed your king castling, and white very often is playing for castles and immediate pressure against the d5 pawn. These days they're sacrificing the pawn. Like it's
I've
nothing.
also seen black just take on c4 to
That's
avoid
right.
or not allow white to castle long.
Exactly. D takes c4, bishop takes c4, very popular just for that reason you mentioned, but also the ending, what you might call the Queen's Gambit accepted ending, is 4 versus 4, 2 versus 2. It's very, very hard to make any significant progress.
But I don't think Levon Aronian is a Queen's Gambit accepted player. So maybe he's not that comfortable in those positions.
I don't know. Again, much like Fabi, Levon has played everything and Carlsbad structures and yeah, just everything. Maurice, if you're with us, weigh in on these two games and the openings. You picking up anything?
Well, yes, I'm tracking this game between Carissa and Tatev and thinking about how difficult it is these days to prepare opening theory in the age of engines that everybody can look and say, oh, this is equal. I remember my former coach, Gregory Kaidanov, saying, black is equal everywhere. It used to be that you could get an advantage with the white pieces or count on getting an advantage, but the engines are like, nah, it's pretty close. You're not getting much. So what is your advantage? The element of surprise. If you can somehow just play something that your opponent may not have looked at so deeply, you can get time on the clock, especially in faster time controls. And I think that is what is transpiring right now in the game with Carissa and Tatev. If we go back, you see this move A3, and man, people back in the day would say, what the heck is that? Seriously? This can't possibly cause any real damage. But it's the engine's second move, second choice in this position. Okay, second doesn't necessarily mean it's good, but it turns out it's not bad to play. Tatev played directly with A5 to try to stop any expansion, and Carissa instantly captured on D5 and played G3, meaning we're still in her prep. And now it was up to Tatev to figure out what to do next. The move bishop to E6 looks natural, so she can put her queen back to D7 and then maybe look to trade off this bishop on G2. But the engine disapproves of this move. There were other moves preferred after G3. Knight F6 was one, bishop to C5 another, not bishop to E6. And I think in part because of the problem of a knight G5 coming, not right now, of course, but after F6, you see she recognized the knight G5 problem. She's lost a tempo, though, castles, and then had to move her queen. And right here, right now, and I see that she has avoided playing the move. Right here, if she was still in her prep, she did not suspect that her opponent would play this move. Her move is pretty good, knight E4. Who's to blame the knight going to a great square? But the engine gives the spectacular D4 in this position. The kind of move you can see is going to accentuate the long diagonal after a capture. Whoever captures back on D4, let's say it's a pawn, then this pawn drops the point of opening the diagonal. And if you take with the pawn, well, this creates the problem of the file opening, and you see the bishop on E6, a problem. You castle queenside. Guess what? Your A5 move suddenly gets exploited on the other side. So D4 would have been the most pointed move in the position. Carissa did not have that prepared, and a hard move to spot a square defended 3 times. She instead played the move knight to E4, also a good move in the position, and this is where we sit. White already has a real edge in the position.
Thank you, Maurice. That D4 move was such a brilliant idea, and I think if Carissa spent just an extra minute or two, she would have found it and played it.
But like Maurice said, I truly don't blame her for the move knight e4. And in fact, as far as I'm concerned, this is a really strong move. Why? Because black scheme of development, what would Tatev like to do? Would Tatev like to put her bishop on d6 and play knight e7? Well, if you play knight e7 right away, knight c5, and that's not good. That's
not the trade you want.
No. If you put your bishop on d6, well, I get to play d4 and as well as capturing a bishop. And Tatev has a real dilemma here in terms of what is she supposed to do. If she plays the move b,
h5, yes, sir. We would not have guessed that move. After Maurice pointed out that when she castles long, there's b4 coming.
Yes,
then
precisely.
I figured, okay, then Tatev's going to castle short. But now we just saw h5. She's not planning to castle short.
Well, it's sort of like Tatev wants to play a dragon, but it's not a dragon. The c7 pawn is not on e7 or e2 in this case. And it's a timing thing, too, because Tatev has played queen takes d5. This knight is on g8. It's not on d5. And when I see this move, I think, I understand Tatev really enjoys attacking and, she's being true to herself. But I'm looking at this position, I'm going, wait a minute.
Give me the g6 square.
If you're going to weaken your g6 square, I'm going to exploit it. I'm going to try to play knight to g6. If you play knight e7, as pointed out previously, I'm more than happy to play knight c5, open my bishop, and capture the light square bishop. So this is early day.
What about bishop
problem.
f7? Can Tatev make one prophylaxis move and then still go with g5?
Yeah, and it's sort of like the old
Ooh,
King's
like
Indian attacks, right? Takes, and you get to
That's
play
looks great for
f5.
But Yasser,
maybe.
Carissa played bishop e3, no knight h4.
Not a bad move at all. I'm all about development, love the centralization. Again, angling a little bit for knight c5, simultaneously saying, hey, look, if you castle long, b2, b4, come to me. And also, by the way, I just pointed out knight h4 to go to knight g6. She might be thinking, before I go to knight h4, I'd like to win a pawn.
Play h4.
Play h4.
Yes.
I'll take the pawn. Here, if I'm in Tatev's shoes, I start thinking, okay, let me play bishop h3, trade off what I feel is the best
Defender.
Yes, and
And a good piece,
the best piece, best white minor piece, is the bishop. Even though I don't like.
At the
scheme
same
of
time, playing
development.
bishop h3 and trading that piece means she will fall farther behind in development. Look, half of her pieces are on the last rank.
Exactly. If there's a fault, if I could find a fault with the move bishop e3, it might be the move knight h6.
Oh, and headed to maybe g4 or f5.
Exactly. And simultaneously, if you now play bishop takes h6, you might have said to yourself, well, why didn't you include rook e1 or something else? Tatev in a little bit of trouble here coming out of the opening. Definitely Carissa's approach has surprised her, especially with the move a3. I see a big time difference on the clocks. Let me jump to the open game between Fabi and Levon, because you were right. You definitely guessed that Levon was ready for d5 takes c4, bishop takes c4. Whoa. I just saw the thermometer, the bar, that shaded area on the left border, the white shaded area.
Hard to understand why, because a6 is the most natural move. You want to play b5 and fianchetto your bishop.
I think it's based on the idea of queen a5, that you want to get development.
So maybe that was just better than a6.
Yeah, but a6, maybe there's obviously a6, the intention is as clear as day. You want to play b5 and bishop b7. But there's something the engines didn't like about this one, Maurice.
Yes, well, you can kind of guess at why, as a matter of fact, because we're taught early on that the best thing to do is to wait a tempo before taking on c4. That's just something that's basic to this opening. And we even saw back in the day, players would wait and wait and wait before touching the bishop on f1, trying to make just waste move, queen c2, rook d1, a3, just any waste moves, even h3 sometimes, trying to save that tempo to say to black, sooner or later you're going to take on c4 and let my bishop come into the game in one move. So Levon could have played queen a5 right now. That's the top choice of the engine, and this is perfectly fine. Just
tournament.
Basically a chess position. But instead he decided to play this move, takes on c4, allowing the bishop to leap into the game in one move. That's a tempo saved for white. Then you decide to play the move a6, which looks like it's another tempo it's a tempo black's about to gain with the move b5, except the bishop actually doesn't want to be on this square. Where does it want to be? Not even on the diagonal. The bishop really wants to be on the square a2. Now, that is what Fabi played. Sorry, he wants to be on the square b1. He wants to be on this separate long diagonal. I'll point out here. This is where all the juice is. And Fabi recognized that as well and has now played the move bishop to a2, the engine's top move, and a veritable refutation of the last move. Bishop a2. The point is to bring the bishop back to b1 and then play for e4, e5. Very concrete. Every one of white's pieces will be attacking in that position in terms of the minors and the queen, and with a very real threat. I'm hitting your h7 square, and you can't play g6 because this pawn on h6 will be hanging to a bishop. So he's got a real issue right now. Does Levon, having given white that extra half tempo and then compounded it with the move a6, suddenly he's looking at the position saying, whoa, 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 this guy's coming straight after me, and it's only 13 moves in.
Thank you, Maurice, for all of that. I quickly want to draw your attention to Carissa's game because we do have alongside castle and b4 on the board.
I am shocked. Tatev really, really walked into a massive attack. b4, obviously you don't want to play ab, but I don't think you want to play a4. This looks terrible. I'm looking at the move c4.
You're
I
okay
want to
with
go,
the d3 pawn
yeah,
dropping?
I'm looking at queen takes, and I'm trying
That
to.
is terrifying.
Yes, exactly. I'm trying to get that queen takes a4, queen a8. Now, I suspect that the move b5 might even be more powerful in this position than ever as well.
No, yes, go with your instinct. c4 is crushing.
c4 is just crushing? Yeah. Because the problem is I don't think you want to play queen takes d3.
Let's take a quick look. Queen
okay.
d3. You
Queen
go
takes
a4.
d3. Okay, queen takes
Show me the
a4.
checkmate if I take your knight on e4.
Do I actually need a checkmate?
Exactly. You're going to beg for a checkmate soon. The attack that's coming is so ferocious. Rook a d1, making sure you can't run.
You
don't
rook
need to check.
d1, making sure I can't run. Are you running though? That was okay. Rook a d1. Let's see. Okay.
Basically, it's a threat of queen a8 and bishop a7 coming.
Wow. Bishop to d. Should I take on d1? I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
I think it's over. Yes.
I
see it now.
I don't think this is going to be very
And
much.
c5 at any point.
Yeah, c5
plus
at any point.
some nasty discoveries.
But as a dragon player, I just love these types of things too, where I'm going check and taking a pawn. I mean, I'm just enjoying, and maybe even here, if we go back to the start, rook d1. If I go check, engine didn't like it, but
I mean, it still shows white is winning. Maybe not as much as after rook d1, but
because
still.
I want to go rook check, you go bishop d6. I want to take it out.
And there's also knight e5 threats.
Knight e5.
Knight g5. There's so many threats.
This is
Exactly.
pretty
It just feels c4 looks scrumptious.
You've got to wonder why Tatev castled queenside with no development. Her opponent is fully developed as far as the minor pieces are concerned. But b4 was a great signal, and you honestly think that a4, that pawn on a4 is going to slow this down?
No.
I mean, how can it possibly if the pawn lands on c4? Maybe you're deterring after you play a4. Maybe you think you're deterring c4 because you might win a piece. But for these attacks, we know people sack pieces 16 different ways.
Exactly.
Like, I'll just get an attack and your king is so compromised. Mm-hmm. So I think that Carissa's checking to see if she gets, if she can calculate to get more. For me, it's an intuitive sacrifice. because it just looks so ridiculously good.
Ridiculous.
But at the same time, it's and you also have to be aware that it's something you cannot calculate to the finish. You're not calculating mate. What you're really trying to do is make sure she cannot consolidate around her king. Knight b8 could be a move that does that. So you have to confirm that your queen a8 and bishop a7 will come with so much force. And look at that. She's avoided the move c4 and moved a pawn to slow down Tatev's attack. So she has misread the way the wind is blowing and didn't realize just how good her position was.
Exactly. Seriously, I thought that what Carissa's problem was
Choosing between C4
was the
and
very,
B5.
very desirable b5. Let me take that. Let me take that. And if I was worried about queen takes d3 a second ago, I'm no longer worried about queen takes d3 anymore. But I am all about queen takes a4, and then on a very good day, just going c5, c6. You've got to play en passant, don't you?
Yeah.
There's just no other choice.
That's what I
But
thought that
now,
Carissa was choosing between B5 and
That's
C4.
what I thought as well. And, you know, just going for this kind of a Sicilian-like attack, you're even material up. You know, you go rook c1.
A
And
great position, and you're not even down material yet.
I didn't. H4 was just misreading the position. I don't think Tatev is in a position to be trying to attack. But c4 is not going anywhere.
That's what I was going to say. Even though Carissa waited one move, c4 is still coming, b5 is still coming. Can Tatev actually stop these ideas?
No, that's the real problem. The desirable development, which is to get your knight into the game, knight c5 is just going to be curtains. That's it. There's nothing to discuss. So it has to be knight h6 and knight f5. Maybe bishop h3 is a bit of a deterrence, but even here, takes,
Just
c4 again.
D3 is no longer hanging.
No longer hanging, but a4 is.
That
And
pawn will always
queen
be
takes
hanging.
a4, queen a8 check, followed by what Maurice said. If you block with the knight, bishop will come to a7. I feel bad. I don't
Yes.
have a bishop on g2.
To attack
I feel
on
bad.
the queen side and not have that bishop is a bit sad, but
Exactly.
yes,
Question
the texture
for
still
you
works.
guys.
Yes.
You're saying c4 is still coming.
Yes.
We see very clearly that c4 is still on the board. But does Carissa? Because if you saw c4, would you be scared of this h4 idea by black?
Certainly not.
You're not. So
No.
why play h4 so you can play c4? That doesn't go together. So my suspicion is that she didn't see c4 and maybe still doesn't see c4. It may occur to her as she's sitting here and she's going, wait, why didn't I just play c4? Maybe. But if she saw the move, I can't imagine she saw c4, looked back over to the right and said, nah, that h4 thing looks so strong, so many tempi, you know, that I gotta stop that black attack because it just looks so powerful.
Right.
Meantime, you have queen takes a4 and that crash coming through.
Yeah.
I just cannot see that being the case. So I think maybe she does not see the move c4, did not see it at that moment, may dawn on her now, but that prophylactic h4 seems just a little too much giving credit to her opponent.
It's funny, as you mature as a player, Carissa, Tatev, natural-born attackers, as you mature as a player, you respect the counterattacks.
Yeah, that's true.
So you fight your own nature, and you develop this habit of playing
A little bit more
a
conservatively.
a preventive move. And that was what h2, h4 was when the position really required just go for it, c4, which is something that is second nature to Carissa and Maurice.
And talking about being restrained in the attack, take a look at the other position. We see it took place, the bishop b1 move, and you have to believe that the hyperaggression would happen the way it should have happened in c4. What would you play here as white if you were white?
E4 in a heartbeat.
But Fabi's heart wasn't in it. Okay? He castled. You look and you go, why can't I play e4? I mean, I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm coming after you with this nasty e5 threat. is my king really in any danger in the center? We see
No.
Carissa respect the attack with h4.
Right.
And now Fabi said, let me put my king safe first. Let me just do that. But that gives a whole gift of a tempo to the opponent. Now, I'm not saying the game is over, or even that castles is a bad move, but e4 was huge. Now, what did Levon say? Let me take my rook off of that square, and now I'll be able to put my knight to f8. And there's that old dictum, knight on f8, there won't be a mate. That's what he's aiming for, to be real defensive. If e4 happens, he will not have to concede the g6 move in any way, put his knight on f8, and hope for the best. This is very difficult to break down. White has more space, of course, with e5, but it's not the same. The tempo is something that matters. So both players we see could have played aggressive pawn moves. Both U.S. champions, the reigning champs, that is Fabi and Carissa, had an opportunity to be aggressive with a pawn move and opted instead for the safety of their own kings.
Thank you, Maurice.
Wow,
But
Maurice.
Carissa did play c4. She was one move late, but it's still on the board, and she still has a very nice attack on Tatev's king on the queen side.
So the pawn on h2 could have been there, the knight on g8, but c4 still is getting it done, right? I mean, the inclusion of h4, knight h6 is slightly favorable for Tatev, but her position,
still
the nuances don't matter. It's all about crash burn on the queen side. Queen takes a4. There's no defense to queen takes a4.
Knight b8.
Knight b8.
We're not going to see that move. That
Knight
b8
b8 is the only way to
Wow.
slow. How else are you supposed to defend the pawn? It's going to be
I
a
have
taken,
no
and the
idea.
queen's
she'll
coming
go
in.
knight d4, but
Knight
knight
b8
b8
is
shocking.
the only way to try to struggle in this position.
Do you
Trying to struggle
know
in
how
this position.
difficult it would be for a player like Tatev to play knight b8? I mean, she is such a natural attacking player to play. But you're right. Once you see the move, you've got to stop queen takes a4. And the idea, Maurice, is that after b5 now, you can go for this because there's not queen a8 check.
It's still looking
Maybe-
good for white, though.
It still looks good for white, but at least
No, we're not going to say knight b8. Can we try knight d4? Because that's more like what she would play. Or queen takes d3, but let's take a look at this move.
But knight takes d4. I mean, knight to d4. That knight gets clipped off. No, bishop takes. Bishop takes. You don't need the bishop.
I was opening up the diagonal, but okay.
You're losing a tempo.
All right.
You just take and play b5 and say, okay, what is your plan here? Now the d pawn on d3 is perfect. Thank you for putting a pawn in the way. I'm taking on a4, and there's no knight over there. There's nobody over there to defend the king at all.
True
So
that.
it looked like you centralized, but you have to play defense right now. And you clogged up the one bit of counterplay you had, which was on the d3 square. That no longer exists. You put a pawn in the way, and now a4 is going to drop, and your king looks terrible. This knight d4 move may look natural because you want to centralize, but that's not where the wind is blowing right now. You have to save this game, and you need to keep counterplay in order, and there's just nothing to stop what is just going to be a straight attack on your king.
Wow. Maurice, seriously, I agree wholeheartedly. This is just, I would think I'm in a winning position as white at this moment. It's funny how I think in terms of, as an English player, having an open bishop on g2, bearing down on the b7 pawn, I see these positions mentally in my mind. Rook is coming
This
to
looks
b5.
absolutely winning as well, yes.
And I've just played these positions. I've played 4 these positions my whole life. That I just see these positions, and that was why I took on d4 with the knight.
Understood.
So I could go knight c5.
You can't resist this type of position, right?
And because of I'm an English player and you can't play bishop to d5.
Yes.
Yay! I'm so happy.
And let's look at their clocks as well.
Wow.
Carissa has 17 and a half minutes on the clock, and
Okay.
Tatev's below 10 minutes now, below 9 actually, and falling.
And she doesn't like her choices, but there is no choice. Knight b8. And
Would you play that move, Yasser?
I would, because frankly, when all the other alternatives are losing, you're forced to find the one move that allows you to resist. Now, the problem, as I see it, is white just has so many good moves on her side of the board. I mean, I was talking about this knight c5 a moment ago. I still feel like this should be, well,
Apparently we
although
blundered
again
something.
the engine is not
Because queen d3, queen c4 might be.
queen d3, queen c4. d4, I'm guessing you want to play bishop takes c4, which makes
We
sense.
can prepare it though. We can play queen c2. Simple move.
Because it's but this is the problem. A moment ago I had queen a8. Now with the knight on b8, I feel like black has more defensive chances, right? Or am I missing something?
You're right, but it's still bad for black.
I'm sure it is.
And we do have a move. Tatev chose knight f5.
Knight f5, just a second.
And pawn on a4 is free.
Let
to
me
take.
update my board. Knight f5. Well,
a4, right?
queen takes a4, and cover your eyes if there's children in our audience. This looks like this is crushing.
Now Carissa needs to take on a4 and not make another like prophylaxis move similar to h4.
Right, rook e1.
Just follow your intuition, Carissa.
Exactly, but the attack is. I really liked this line of Roman Gingi-Hashvili, and his line was, "White has the material and the attack."
And the attack, yes.
By the way, that's a great line.
It is.
I have compensation for my extra pawn.
I have the pawn and the
And
compensation.
the compensation, that's right. And the thing is about this move, knight f5, and Tatev, we know, sometimes has difficulty in the defense. She's a brilliant attacker, but she doesn't like being attacked. Neither does Carissa, by the way. So they have the similar style of both being very aggressive players, but they don't really think about the attack. Not everybody loves being attacked, but they're not thinking, let me hunker down. When you attack her, she attacks back. And sometimes you have to find those defensive moves that slow down your opponent, even though they may look ugly. Mm-hmm. This move, knight f5, I think I figured out the logic. It's to get rid of a bishop that would attack your knight on b8. Right. So when the queen takes on a4, there is that threat of queen a8 check, followed by bishop a7 when you block. So if I get rid of your bishop, then theoretically, obviously, factually, you can't play bishop to a7, but that's not going to be the worst of your troubles, or the end of your troubles anyway, because the diagonal is still potentially open for this bishop as things get out the way, particularly your knight sitting back on b8. So this knight f5 actually doesn't slow anything down. We see there Carissa waiting to pounce, knowing that she has a massive edge on the clock, but needing to calculate in this position the move queen takes on d3. Now, it's over. It's a terrible position for her to play here, and that is for black, but you still have to calculate there's a knight, there's a pawn hanging, or what's going on, or not. I think a lot of us would say, I ain't calculating that at all. I'm just going straight for this line. You've given up a critical pawn on your king side with that structure. Let's go. It's going to be something good coming out of this position. I may not know what yet, but it's got to be there.
Absolutely, there has to be a knockout blow. Queen takes
taking the
a4. Because of the time discrepancy, 2-1. I think Carissa was just absolutely double checking. She has no doubts in her mind that she has a winning attack. She's just making sure that after knight takes e3 and queen takes d3, there's a killer blow. I think there is.
I do think that the reason why Carissa hesitated and started with h4 and took some time with queen a4 is because of yesterday's result. She's such a streaky player. When she starts winning, no one can stop her usually.
Right.
And she comes to the board so confidently and just attacks and checkmates. But yesterday losing 2-0 to Alice Lee,
that was a shock.
Definitely affected her confidence, but she's trying to get it back today.
Absolutely. Maurice, over to you.
Talk about lack of confidence.
Uh-oh.
Not sure what's going on with Fabiano Caruana, but he must have noticed that he should have punched earlier with the move e4, and now he's let Levon off the hook almost completely. Okay, some may argue that there is still an advantage in the position. I know the two bishops are something to play for, but Levon, now you see him getting up, going away from the board, must be thinking, woof, dodged a bullet. Let's go back here.
He did.
When you didn't have to castle, you can't say, well, my advantage is so big that I can do whatever I want. There's that old dictum, when you have a lead in development, you use it or fear it dissipating.
Open.
And in this position, E4 would have been it. Playing for E5, very concrete, with no problem to the king. But he played for king safety in one move, gave Levon this free tempo. Then he played knight to E4. This says, I prepared everything, now let me play knight E4. And Levon said, go ahead, now I finished my development. And yes, you'll have the two bishops. Let's play an endgame. I'm happy to play this as well. We could trade, but the symmetrical pawn structure with no weaknesses for black, you've got no targets, and I'm good enough to defend. And you see there Fabi sitting going, man, I thought I had a little something here at least, but that advantage that he should have had is now gone. And he's the one way down on the clock. He hesitated, and that hesitancy may not cost him the game, but it may prove fatal in the match overall. Too early to speak, but he's showing just a little too much hesitation right now.
Wow, Maurice. Yeah, missed a huge advantage, I felt, for Fabi. We reached that point in the show, Nasi, where our statistician likes to tell us and inform us who's going to win.
Yeah, remind everyone that pre-tournament Fabiano Caruana was a huge favorite to win the event at 41.4%, and Wesley saw in clear second at 21.5%, Levon in third. These three players are still in it.
And what happened after six? After
round six.
Whoa, look.
Yeah, no, look at that. 84.4%. Wesley was down to 10 and Levon down to 5. But after yesterday's match.
Modern times. It
that.
became the Wesley So show.
They're completely reversed. Now
Wow.
it's Fabi that is in the last place at 6.4%. Wesley, the pie is his.
He's got the whole pie almost. I was going to say that was
That's all
quite,
it takes. One loss.
Quite the turnaround, as you see there by Fabi. By the way, coming back to Tatev's game for a moment, because we do have our variation on the board. Queen A8 check, knight back. F takes E3, queen takes D3. Now, from a mile away, you can see a puzzle rush
Look at
tactic.
that move Carissa just played,
that
right?
What
After
you
G5.
want to do is make this beautiful, awesome
But you
geometry.
have two knights in the way.
Get him out of the way.
And she's doing just that.
So she has played knight G5. And by the way, how about the ladies? We forgot to do the stats for the ladies.
Yes, pre-tournament, Carissa was, of course, the favorite top seed in the event. Alice Lee in second. Let's see now, after 6 rounds,
Right?
it was
Still the Carissa show?
and Alice, right? Pretty
Right.
close, 58 and 36%. But after yesterday's match, where Alice managed to defeat Carissa, it's very similar
This
to
is
the
after
open section,
6,
right?
yeah,
Now
right.
Alice Lee at 82.9% and Carissa at 13%.
Tata still has a sliver of the pie. But right now, her position right now, Carissa is looking and saying, give me that pawn on B7, and I've got a checkmate coming up really
Carissa
shortly.
loves positions like this. She's
Who
calculated
doesn't?
all kinds of checkmates now, I'm sure.
Okay, there are lines where the queen might be tempoed, right? Knight C5, and so
Yes, so
you
we
kind
have to
of
look at
think
that line, right? All the forcing moves. Let's take
Queen
on E3
takes
with the
E3
check,
check,
and then
king.
take on G5.
And we take on G5, and we take on G5, and I say, gift me the pawn on B7.
So black is up a
or
full piece at the moment.
for,
So can I go Queen B6?
Okay.
Defend B7. Technically, I'm not defending the bishop on E6, but at least the B7 is safe for now.
Okay, well, I could play C5, but I'm
It's
greedy
coming, yeah.
to. Now, what
No,
else
I
are you going
can't.
to
The
do?
bishop
Let
H3.
me interrupt.
Oh no, that's even terrible. Yeah. Please, Maurice, do interrupt because
Let me interrupt. Sorry.
Yeah.
There's something to note: the possibility of playing the move knight to F2.
Say what? Really?
instead of king h2.
Well, you're threatening my knight, right? You're about to take my knight.
She has it.
What if I just say, okay, so now I'm threatening b7 and your bishop. You don't have...
You haven't taken a piece. You haven't taken anything.
I just blocked your check. And now I have a tempo. What are you going to do?
Nobody was thinking about knight f2, and I don't think Tatev was either. But now that you mention it, the dual threat of knight takes e6 and queen takes b7 is crushing. Knight f2 is a game winner.
I think Carissa sees it. I think that's why she's sitting here.
Exactly. That's why she paused. Otherwise, she would have played already king h2.
Right.
What are you supposed to do? It's a massive double threat.
Precisely.
You can only allow b7 to fall in this position. You have to take the knight on g5. You can't move your bishop. You have to take the knight. And this is going to be a disaster. Rook's coming. You have to block with the other bishop and then c5. And
now rook takes probably doesn't win, but c5 followed by rook takes check is what's really going to hurt. Ouch.
You could always break the pin, but you already did the maximum damage in this position, as there's just nothing to do. I mean, your position has collapsed dramatically.
It's funny because when she played the move knight g5, she clearly played that move with the intention of knight takes g5 and so on. And I had a blind, my blinders on that I was playing knight takes g5 or knight c5 in almost every position. I was never playing knight f2.
I got to tell you.
Maybe Carissa, because she's hesitating so much between king h2, I think she might be seeing knight f2 kind of for the first time and saying to herself, she's fighting with herself because I'm sure she had intended king h2, but she's saying, what the heck is wrong with knight f2? That looks so good.
So I did a course. You know I did this course called The Secrets of Chess Geometry, and one of the most important topics in the course are retreating moves. Mm-hmm. Those are the moves that all us strong players were not trained to see. There's no good book that I know of. Maybe it's come out in the last year or two. But there's no good book on the art of retreating moves. Mm-hmm. There is one book, okay, let's just say a book has been written, but it doesn't really expand on the psychology and some of the examples. Although some of the examples are really quite fine. Nevertheless, the idea of backward knight moves, we know those moves are difficult to spot. And to have a collection of those moves so that you can be at your fingertips the same way we know about pins and forks and skewers, etc., would be a service to the community. Well, I did it with my course, The Secrets of Chess Geometry. I did it in a section to talk about this idea. And that's why we saw knight b8. I heard you say, Nazi, nobody's playing knight b8. And Yasser said, well, if it's the only move, I'm going to play it. I have to see it. Now you see Carissa in this moment. You might have said, wait, knight f2 is on the board? We didn't even look at it. But the retreating moves can be so powerful. Your tendency is to not play it because you're going backwards, even though you're looking at it like, you can look pretty quickly and go, knight f2 looks pretty good.
Right.
But she's still hesitating over the move. Otherwise, she would have played king h2 a long time ago.
Right.
But she's sitting here because she sees it. No question, she sees it, but she has to bring herself to believe it.
Yeah, and Tatev too. And I think she did just play king h2 after that. Yeah. After that wonderful discussion. I like the way you, Maurice, congratulations on your title, The Secrets of Chess Geometry, because if you had done a course that says the art of the retreat in chess, it would not have been very popular. I will train you on how to retreat. No, you won't. King h2, a move that she intended and would have played in a bullet game and a blitz game very quickly. She convinced herself that knight f2 was probably good, but okay, she
not as good.
And
both moves are great.
She was struggling. Still, I've got to say, king h2. This looks
pretty good.
Awesome.
And king h2 would have been played in a blink if knight f2, if she hadn't noticed knight f2.
Right.
Yes.
Right? Because there's nothing wrong. It's not like king h2 is so, that's terrible. Should I play king h1 instead? No, she already saw king h2. But that knight f2 move must have distracted her. And she finally said, nah, you know what, let's just play chess.
Yeah.
And she spent some time, but still she has 9 minutes against 3.5 minutes, so she has nothing to worry about on the clock. It's all about getting some material back or checkmating.
There you go. You
making
had to
Tatev's
take on
king
g5
run.
and just kind of close your eyes to what's happening around your king. FG5, knight g5. Give me the pawn on b7. Give me the bishop on e6. Is it time to get on the running shoes?
So I'm seeing some ideas for black. There's like hope that rook d2 will land. So can I start with e4? Just I want you to
E4.
take with the bishop, and I have a check at least. Rook d2. It's something, right?
Okay, yeah, e4.
But of course you'll take on e6 and.
Yes.
And then
I want to
don't-
take on e6. Okay, let's just take a look, shall we? Takes on e6.
Ooh, that's bad.
Rook d2.
No, rook d3.
G3 square is weak. See, Tatev
Rook
does have some ideas here.
d3. Look at that. Hello. If we can get in a check, it's not.
I'm sure she's looking for some kind of
Wow.
counterplay because she's not enjoying looking at her queen side and expecting all the checkmates. So she is definitely looking at some rook d2, rook d3 ideas here.
That's a fantastic idea.
e4. Maybe I should just take in a tempo before I do my capturing.
That's the only move to keep an advantage.
No kidding.
You must
really?
now, look how big your advantage was a second ago. Now you must find rook a1. It's not exactly a hard-looking move.
No, to chase the queen away makes
Chase
a
the
lot of
queen
sense.
and you're
Right.
tempoing on the pawn and there's no more problem on the g3 square. But you have to note it. You cannot play a casual second best move. King h2 was a second best move,
Right.
but a really good move nevertheless. Oh no, she's taking on
Bishop
c4.
takes c4.
That should not last. That should not last.
Wow. Okay, well, now we're headhunting. Queen takes king. Pause. There's bishop h3 check. There's rook d1 check.
Too many options,
ooh.
right? I also like rook e1.
There's
Why not?
rook e1. In this case, do you use the a rook or the f rook? Because the reason why is because it's not usual to see that the open
Probably
f file.
Is the a rook, yeah. Just the rook is so happy on the open f file.
Okay. And I was just going to say as an update, Fabi's game is very even, which is why our focus has been on this game.
We are seeing fireworks in this game.
And who doesn't like a king hunt? I mean, we live for
Carissa
these.
hasn't taken on b7 yet. She's still thinking. I think her only problem here is that she has too many good options. Maybe 5, 6 good moves here that are winning.
But the problem is they're all really good moves. One move, again, this kind of a head hunting skills.
Bishop covers.
Is it too warped to play rook takes d6?
Let's try it. We can always take it back.
Well, bishop h3, bishop h3. I'm wondering if I need to throw in a bishop h3 check.
But then rook d6 doesn't come with the check. So
Good point.
let's start.
Yeah,
Because Carissa's taking her time.
so we can too.
We can give another check. I
This
thought you were
one?
planning rook d1 and queen c7.
It all looks very, very good to me too.
And then, if nothing else, c4 bishop is hanging too.
Which I'm more than eager to capture. Like
Yeah,
after
this
knight
is
d7, queen takes
Very
c4,
simple.
looks like two massive checks on
We're
the
not
e6.
even down any big material here.
No,
We have bishop and a pawn for the rook.
and the king is being blown out of its queenside shield. King h2, bishop takes c4 is. I have to tip my hat. e5, e4, and
It
rook
was
d3.
an idea. Yeah.
No, not just an idea, but really so good, it made me question why Tatev didn't play rook d3. Oh, then I have rook f3.
Yeah, immediately rook d3.
That was why I needed e4. I understand now.
We have the checks, and Carissa quickly plays rook c1, the move we didn't consider, but it looks very good as well. She's going after the c7 pawn.
Check. Oops, sorry. So after knight takes g5, bishop takes c4. She's gone hunting. Check.
Check, and rook a to c1, leaving her rook on f1 hanging because there's checkmate in 2. Queen c7 and queen f7.
That's pretty sweet.
That knight on
Oops.
g5 is a wonderful piece.
Sure is. Nicely done. So bishop c4 and said, so, I mean, it's kind of, it hurts when you play a move like bishop takes c4 and your opponent says, oh, thank you for opening up the c file. And then you feel like a jerk. Why did I open up the c file? Bishop takes c4, rook c1.
Carissa looks so serious and focused. She for sure knows she's winning.
Yeah.
But look at that.
I
Focus
think
in her
yesterday
eyes.
was a wake-up call. Yesterday
Yeah.
was a wake-up call. She lost 2 games to Alice Lee, who is a defending champion, and she knew to win this championship, she would probably have to go through Alice. And so yesterday kind of like said, okay, no
It's a
more
bit of a
fun and
shock for
games.
her, yeah.
You know, let's be
Normally
focused.
she'd be smiling here.
She just played queen to e2, trying to defend, and she was chased by rook to e1, and now all of White's pieces are activated, and she's trying to hold on desperately to this bishop on c4. But those 2 pieces, you could tell, the bishop and the queen are the only 2 pieces in the game for black, and they're not even secure. I mean, the bishop can be attacked, maybe rook e4, for example, queen e4. You could
E5.
almost do anything, I would argue, and you'd have a massive edge. And she's played rook to e4 to say that bishop cannot be secured, and there'll be a crash on the c file, on the c7 square, that you will not survive.
Yeah, I'm remembering your conversations with Maddie, and this is where the instructor says, you see, you're playing with everything. The knight, the bishop on g2, the 2 rooks, the queens, everybody's involved in the party. Rook e4 is a monster move. That's just, I mean, there's a lot of really good moves, but I love this move that Carissa just played. This is crash and burn now.
Yeah,
Clean.
Tatev's down to 45
Wow.
seconds as well.
I should
Crushing.
point out,
Yes.
another little bit of an illusion. Black is up material. Do you think so?
No.
It
You can't
feels like
convince
White
me.
is up.
You can't convince me that black is up material here. The rook on h8 never moved.
The bishop on f8,
Bishop on
a la
f8.
the opera game of
finally
Morphe's.
moved. But look at this.
Now you're no longer up material. Now material equality, but
And I don't feel like it's material equality either. Okay, takes. Okay, so
Queen
this
d5,
bishop
I think,
h3
is the
check.
final move here. Queen d5, and that's it, right? She included rook c2, so she can give a check on h3.
That was what I was thinking. I wanted to play bishop h3 check. Of course, it's illegal. So all
Tatev
Carissa
might.
had to do to release her bishop was play rook c2. But I
Resign
love
here.
the move queen d5 as well.
She's taking the pawn.
die with a full tummy, as you say, yes.
Yeah.
He takes a3.
Okay, there goes the rook. And Tatev said, yuck. Why did I play castles long and a4? Congratulations, Carissa. Let's go back to
Carissa
Fabi.
takes the lead. Tatev will have a chance to bounce back in the next game with the white pieces. For now, let's switch to Fabiano and Levon's game.
Because when we left it, we saw the move queen c5, bishop e4 by Levon. And Levon is coming closer and closer to,
A draw?
I want to say full equality, yes. But, you know,
Okay, this white rook.
it reminds me a little bit of the game yesterday that Fabi played with the bishops of opposite colors.
Against Wesley?
Yeah, exactly. Something, kind of an echo, if you will.
Yeah, and now Fabi's
Knight
with the
to
better
d2.
pieces, right? He has the active rook on the 7th rank. There's
Wow.
not much to play for, but in the opposite color bishop endgame, if you have an active rook, a better pawn structure, or safer king, there's still something, right? Knight on b2 is safe.
It looks a little bit funny. I wouldn't have guessed that
I guess
is...
it's coming back to d3 very soon.
Yes. For the moment, bishop takes d3 and coming back to c4. That would be...
They're also very
A goal.
equal on the clock as well, only 20-second difference.
but Fabi defending the pawn on b3, not by knight d4, which would probably encourage e5. He therefore chose the move knight d2.
Maybe he also wants to play e4 at some point.
Which,
if
by the way,
needed.
would trap the bishop, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, how
that's
about
a threat.
now?
Did not notice that.
I mean, the desirable knight. I don't know if this is actually
E4.
working out very well because the bishop is just trapped. You probably have to play. No,
It's
you
actually
can't play f5.
Quiet but sneaky move, right? Knight d2 threatening just e4 winning the game.
Yeah, and
So-
if you play f5, bishop c3 will
Levon can
hurt
play
your
rook
finger.
d8 though because white has first rank issues.
Ah, so you want to say that after e4, ha
I'll
ha
just
ha
take
ha,
it.
you turn the tables and you've got a rook d1 check.
Mm-hmm.
That's your first rank issue. That's a big issue. Okay, so rook d8 preps, but I
But
could
I'll be a
play.
little bit scared of bishop e7.
That's what I wanted to say. Can I chase the bishop? Pardon me. Can I chase the rook away and set up for e4 coming soon?
Why doesn't that win big material? What's
Oh, rook b8 and bishop b7.
okay.
But
Or
that,
bishop
that's not what we
a8,
wanted to
right?
do.
But no, Levon stuck his knight on b2 and his bishop on b7.
That's unpleasant for sure.
That's not the way we like to play chess.
There's
No,
got to
no,
be an
no,
easier
no.
way for Levon to save the piece then, if not rook d8. Maybe simply e5? I don't want to put my pawn on the dark square, but I might have to.
Okay, so actually, yes, another one of those, but okay, here's my problem. I'm going to have to play knight to d3, right? But then rook to d7. Am I getting my feelings hurt?
There is knight c1, but...
Rook
Oh,
c8?
knight c1. I like knight c1. Rook c8
Knight
is good too.
C1. That's
It's the back rank
Yes.
C8 looks very
issues.
natural.
Yeah, rook c8.
But Knight C1 is is actually a move.
Yeah.
No, I mean after Rook D7.
I understand.
It was a pretty idea.
But I remember my trainer, Nikolai Minev, he would say to me, Yasser, if your defense relies upon tactics, you are out.
Well, that's
he
harsh.
didn't believe that, that
Levon took 2 minutes out of his 3 minute on
To
the clock
play?
to play a5.
a move we didn't even consider because we thought that bishop c3 and e4 is
Well,
too strong.
That's still
A5.
a possibility, right? Fabiano just played bishop c3 and quickly knight d3 responded. Oh, he wants to play b4 on e4.
Do we believe him? b4 on e4. And so this bishop, I could take and move my bishop, but assuming I just go back.
Are there some tactics with... No.
With a4.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
That would
about.
be crazy. a4. One of those it was the pawn breakthrough that brought
Levon. His
Levon,
win against the Wonder.
Indeed.
Yeah, this is interesting, but it's
I
hard
have
to
a hard
believe it
time
works.
believing it because takes,
Push 'em, baby.
d6.
Ooh,
We're
we're faster actually with d7.
Right.
And yeah, Levon is down to 1.5 minutes, while Fabi has an extra minute.
a5, bishop c3. Pardon me. Yes. So bishop c3, knight d3, and Fabi is looking at e4 and he's saying, why not? Why not e4?
And he's earnestly saying that, by the way, because he realizes that the tactics are there. It's not easy to just play intuitively because of that pawn breakthrough, as you mentioned.
Right.
There are some complications you must calculate, and your bishop is looking funny on the A1 square. Did you
Yes.
have to put it there?
I wasn't sure either.
If you were, since you're not defending, what if B4? I'm just curious if we just analyze this. B4, bishop, D4. Why didn't you put it here?
I was afraid
You're
of
afraid
e5.
of this.
Well, afraid is a strong word. I didn't want to give my opponent a chance to escape what I thought was a trap bishop.
Got it. And takes is not fast enough getting the D6 idea in because your opponent actually has a move as well. So here we are.
Here we
He has to
are,
decide.
e4 on the board now, the
So-
moment of truth, where we've reached an important moment. Can I play the move bishop a1?
He's played it.
Did?
And instantly, as if this was all of his calculation, Levon.
Isn't
I
he
don't
just
know.
down a piece?
He's
down
such
a piece.
He's such a trickster. At certain moments, you're not sure if he's bluffing or like really. Levon has played Queen's Gambit positions where he knows the value. Remember who earlier in the tournament he played rook against Sam Seirawan? Who was it? He played rook on f8, rook on e8 to c8, and it was it was against Abi Mishra. Mishra had the two knights.
Yes, against
And then
Levon.
And Levon had the queen side attack going. Let me.
We do have a couple of moves on the board.
Apologies, update. So big moves: e4, b4, bishop a1, takes, rook c3. Get out of my camp.
Levon has one in between move, maybe rook e8.
I'll take. Oh,
You can't
there's
play
check.
king f1. Yes, I will just take the bishop on a1.
Of
So
course.
you don't want to allow that, of course.
Of course,
You would play knight f3.
I will play.
And
knight
then
f3.
black knight still has to move. And after that,
So, okay, here's Levon's
there we
argument.
go.
Okay,
Moves
I was
are on
about
the
to
board.
say, Levon's argument is going to be that he's going to stick his knight on b4, and he's going to say, my a3 pawn is so darn good, it's worth a piece. Do we believe him, though?
Well, it's also the combination of a pawn and d pawn, but I still don't think it's enough.
Believable, yeah.
But it is tricky. It's not that simple for Fabi to say, oh, I have an extra piece, I'm winning. He has to always watch out for that a pawn. The knight went the other direction to f4, provoking king f1.
I think that's a good. Well, as white, I will accept the provocation, right?
Happily.
Happily.
Don't forget that the white knight will end up on the d4 square.
That's a beautiful blockading square, yeah.
In addition to the fact that he can play knight to b5, that knight, maybe white's other pieces are relegated to some tiny defense, but that knight can go to b5, can go to c6.
Right.
It can start being something that softens you up after your initiative has been tempered. Right now, he's played rook to c2. You know, Levon has been living on the edge. We talked about this in the opening of the show. He's been living on the edge for quite some time in this tournament and gotten away with it against other players. But now he has to deal with it against this player, Fabiano Caruana. And he's hoping his opponent plays a soft move of some kind. But
Actually,
Fabi currently not letting him off the hook.
I love this knight d2 because Levon was planning a4. Did you notice that tricky move?
First of all, no, I didn't notice it. Second of all, I'd noticed bishop e5, and I wasn't sure what's wrong with bishop e5. Does this actually work for black? That's remarkable. Check this out. Takes a2.
Oh, and then black is winning. So tricky.
Oh,
Levon down to 14 seconds now.
That tricky Levon Aronian. What a scandalous win that would have been. But bishop e5 is a big threat. Knight to d3 came with 20 seconds.
Rook a2 or king f1 still, but
oh no, rook
Fabi's
a2.
planning rook a2. Just get rid of that pawn and win the game.
That a3 pawn is the one pawn.
But maybe he doesn't want to allow rook c8.
Rook a2, rook c8, g3.
Or you can just take on a3. Allow check, go knight f1.
Knight f1.
Should be safe.
Knight f4.
Perfect. No.
Then knight f4 with knight e2, but then you can just
G3,
play
right?
g3, and then it
Yes.
ends. But you have to calculate to make sure.
Rook
and Fabi
A2.
decides, you know what, I don't want to deal with that at all.
played
But I
king
have
f1.
to argue that rook a2 was absolutely a superb
now-
move.
Levon played rook e8.
Okay.
Forced knight f3 back, and can he go back to b8 now?
Yes.
But now things like rook c3 become playable.
Rook c3.
looks like.
I just was thinking, Fabi wants to put
well,
the
we
rook
do
on
have
a2.
rook b8.
And he doesn't get to play rook a2 here.
Right.
He has to-
He's in time pressure as well. I
Yeah.
mean, it's no longer just up a piece. And imagine you're down a piece and you're not resigning. It shows the tenacity of Levon Aronian, and he's waiting for Fabi's mistake. Figures, I'm just going to bother him and bother him and bother him. He's going to look over the clock, and he's going to make a mistake some way, somehow. I must be alert at all moments. This has been Levon this tournament.
Rook c3. Okay, finally, he's dealing with the threats. Knight b4 on the board. I'm expecting rook c5. There was a Fabi wanted to approach the a3 pawn by rook c2 to a2 takes.
I'm surprised
Yasser.
that he didn't bring the king out.
Yeah, king e2, king d2, and you suddenly have a fourth piece over there.
Yeah.
That would have been final.
Correct. No,
Maybe knight
no
c2
argument
here,
for me.
force the trade.
I don't want
Yeah,
to take
maybe
on
not.
b4.
Yeah, that's true. I don't want to take. No, I was going to take on a3, so I'm forcing you to take on c2.
I agree in that case.
He played f3.
Knight. That stops any rook
7
e4.
seconds for Levon.
Levon's living on the edge and not much time either. Rook to a8. Okay. Finally, Levon says, okay, I'm going to try to play a4 and force the trade, but this is your knight c2.
Yeah.
King e2 was a great move. I love that move. I love your
Knight
move
C2
as
looks
well,
also
knight
good.
c2, because
Oh!
Oh,
He
wow,
almost
how
lost
did
on
he make
time.
that?
1 second. He
Did he
played that
really?
capture, and his piece fell out of his
he
hand for a second as well.
yes, and he almost lost it on time because of the little, and rook c3,
a4? A4?
a4, b4,
Oh, before.
just in time.
Otherwise, it's like black would be
What?
back in the game.
Okay, d4. Look at Levon. Last gasp saloon. Rook d3. a4. b4.
Only
Here it
move.
comes.
Whoa.
The only move for white.
b4. Yes, of course. But as soon as we go rook takes a3, king e2,
over.
then we can start talking about claiming the contract.
Yeah, a little bit of heart
But
palpitations.
b4. but woo-hoo-hoo.
But Levon realizes it now. He's still looking for tricks.
He sure is.
9 seconds left, and he's taking on b4.
I got to give him all the credit in the world. He's fought back from a position I think many of us would have lost a long time ago.
Like 30 moves ago.
Yes, exactly. Rook takes a3, but it's it. That's it. There's only rook check. Ooh, d3.
I wouldn't say that's it. It's Levon. He'll still find some ideas.
Okay, d3 is a good attempt because rook takes allows. Okay, but bishop, he says, my king is going to be perfectly happy going to f2 and to e3.
Also, yeah, as a king is just close enough that rook b3 doesn't work because you can play king to e1 after the trade of rooks.
King to e1 now looks really strong. You know, Fabi is all about collecting these pawns on d3 and okay, king
He's going
f2.
via e3. And yeah, now I think ideas are running out for black.
Yep.
It's going to be a piece in a moment.
Whew.
He played f6 with 2 seconds left.
2 seconds on the clock, but no, it's over now. King e3, and no more trickies. King takes d3, and there goes a tooth, as Victor Korchnoi would like to say.
A tooth.
A tooth, a fang.
If only he could rid himself of all the pawns on the king side, but it's not possible. The rook on a6 is not going to hold. The h5 move cannot possibly do anything over there. Fabi just has to figure out how to make a little bit of progress. Now, the black rook is ready to ditch the a pawn for some counterplay in the heart of the enemy camp. If he could somehow get on the second rank. But that also looks impossible to concoct.
Right.
I think now he's going
no
to put the
counterplay.
bishop as a blockader so he can use his rook for activity.
Rook to c4.
Maybe the king actually will come and just win the a-pawn. It's also easier for Fabi that he has the right colored bishop for the h-pawn.
A consideration that, a long-term consideration that the h8 square is a dark squared bishop. Good for his dark squared bishop, sorry.
I like just checking king c4 here. And then rook goes behind a-pawn. We win that pawn and
Fabi said, give me the pawn.
bishop c3, rook a6.
Maybe I would be thinking in terms of checking,
Trading,
okay?
He's going rook a5. Same idea.
Similar idea, exactly. Getting the rook behind the a pawn.
He can do it right away after a3 because the bishop makes it back in time.
Yes, exactly.
I think that's resignation.
I think that's a very, very powerful
That idea
move.
consolidates everything. You're not going to get any counterplay now.
Right.
There's nowhere to look for counterplay.
Oh, by the way, that's a peshki.
Who cares?
I care. I mean, I live for these moments. What do you mean, who cares?
He's looking around right now, but he's scanning the board, and he decided to play the move H4.
Levon
Probably.
cares.
Levon cares.
And
Wow.
now trade, and now H3, hoping to stretch the game on. One cute thing about this position, I say cute, the idea being that the A4 pawn can only be taken by a king, right? It can only be taken by the king. So if you can distract the king, you would hope that somehow you can do something with your king and pawns on the other side. We were talking about trading down as much as possible. But that pawn can just sit there on A4 while you fight. And so Levon, I had said resignation time. He's trying to figure out some way.
I've got a stalemate idea, Maurice. How do you like this? King? King?
Okay. You're letting the
King.
king go all the way to h4?
Check. Maybe it's not a stalemate
It's
idea.
actually checkmate.
I wanted to play G5. I need to put the pawn on A2 and use the bishop as a distraction. Nope, sorry.
Nice
Forget
idea. We see that in
Two.
endgames, 2 seconds left,
Woo.
and made it with 1 second, and now what?
He's made a couple of moves with a single second on his clock, hasn't he?
Okay, so now the A2 pawn can only be captured by a bishop. But guess what?
Fabi is not thinking about capturing the A pawn. Fabi is thinking about capturing the H3 pawn.
And I think we should also understand this position as I don't even have to be up a piece. 3 seconds, 2 seconds resigns. He could win the king and pawn ending almost.
Right, yeah. Woo. That was a
wins.
nervy affair, but at the end, Fabi kept it together.
Fabi takes the lead in this match, but Levon will come back for the second game and will have to win with the white pieces to force a blitz playoff.
Wow, our top seeds showing why there's the top seed. But a big bounce back for Fabi after losing against Wesley, where he lost in the classical and then lost in the playoffs. Sometimes it's very hard to reset
Absolutely.
your mind. And once again, our results.
This is results so far of game 1 rapid. Fabiano and Carissa both win their first games with the white pieces against Levon, Aronian, and Tatev, Abrahamyan. Can they maintain the lead?
Yeah, no, Levon and Tatev will have to win the bounce back. We go to break. Irene and Eric are representing the colors, the merch of the American Cup, and they will be with you on our break.
Enjoy, and we'll be back shortly.
That happened so fast. Give me a word, a single word, that you hope will describe your play in this event.
Wow, the simple word would be like winner. You know? That would be enough. That would be enough.
Well, I'm hoping for exciting.
I'm good with exciting. Exciting works for me.
Remember last year they asked players playing Wesley so and they all say solid. Yeah? Like,
Solid. Exciting.
Hopefully not blunder, you know. Hopefully not blunder. Anything besides that will be good for me.
Surprising.
Surprising. Nice.
Strong.
Fearless.
Brilliant. Love that answer.
2 words, but good performance.
I like it.
Maybe creative.
Nice. Like it.
Resilient? Fighting?
Fighting.
Incredible.
Incredible. Love it. I love it.
I say intriguing.
I'd say normal. Normal would be a good word.
Normal.
Tenacious.
Nice.
Winner.
Excellent. That was what Arena Crush said.
Decent.
Decent.
I'd be pretty happy
Decent.
with decent.
I think I hope they will use normally the word that I personally use to describe my performance, lucky.
Lucky.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the show break, and back by a popular demand, I am now joined again by international master Eric Rosen. Eric, thanks for coming to the show again.
Thanks for having me back. I'm happy to be here.
So we've been following the games, and before we do that, actually, we're twinning. This is the American merch, American Cup merch, the blue color. Yeah, how do you like
your
it?
Outfits.
Me
Thanks.
too. Don't leave me hanging. Give me a high five.
Yeah, it's super comfortable. I encourage everyone to get a outfit like this.
Well, the games. Let's talk about the games. Yeah, we have two decisive results in the first rapid tiebreak. Not tiebreak. This the elimination bracket still, because whoever wins the match today will go on the final tomorrow. And Wesley So and Alice Lee, they're already waiting to play their final game. And we touch upon this position actually, where it is a very critical moment in this position for Fabiano, because as we can see here on the board, the eval bar shows it's really advantageous for White's position. And there was one critical move here that Fabiano didn't play on the game.
Right, and they touched on it on the broadcast, but maybe we can dive deeper here, because Fabiano very quickly castled in this position, which is a natural move. As White, maybe you don't think it's a critical moment, you're just looking to complete development. But in this position, Fabiano missed an incredible crushing blow, and the engine says White is pretty much winning after the missed opportunity pawn to e4. And this move has a very simple threat. White just wants to play e5, kick away the knight on f6, and then unleash the queen-bishop battery and look to create mating ideas on h7. And if Fabi played this move, it's really not easy for Black to defend against White's threats. The engine, funnily enough, gives the best move is g6 here, just losing the pawn on h6. The more testing move is probably knight h5 to attack the bishop on f4. But then White has a couple options. The simplest is probably still just e5, threatening mate, and this would provoke either g6, again losing h6 pawn, or f5, allowing en passant, and then Black's kingside is crumbling. E6 pawn is going to be a long-term weakness, and White is much better here. During the game, we were analyzing a really funny line that after knight h5...
It was not funny, it was fun line.
Fun, yeah. I find some comedy in it, because White will be sacrificing not one, but two pieces, starting with the following sequence. Bishop takes h6. If Fabi is not finding e4, then he's probably not finding the sequence, but this is a very powerful engine line. After pawn takes bishop, we then sacrifice the rook. Rook takes d7, and this is important because we remove the knight on d7, and then after e5, Black is very short on defense. Queen h7 is a massive threat. Black would have to play f5 here, and the attack keeps coming en passant. Again, threatening queen h7, knight takes f6, and then White is having all the fun. Queen g6, king h8, take. We were looking at queen g6, king h8, knight g5, and White just has a massive attack.
Yeah, White was down a full rook, but well, this line was not taken by Fabiano because this is a rapid game. I'm sure if it was a classical game, he would have calculated all of these lines, because it's a very important game not to lose anything from the opening, and especially if you are thinking of sacrificing a whole rook even, it might jeopardize your chance to go to the final. So he chose a very safe option here. Instead of playing e4, he just castled, and White still maintained advantage, but what we saw later on was kind of like a masterful grind again by Fabiano in a positional game.
That's true, yeah. He still got the job done. Probably could have got the job done a bit quicker if he found e4. But perhaps we can move on to the game between Tatev and Carissa. Maybe you can help find the game.
This one, yes.
There we go. And so we saw a very crushing attacking game by Carissa Yip, who loves to attack. And she came up with an opening surprise in this game, pawn to d3 on move 2 against the French.
Actually, not that surprising, because also in the first match in this American Cup, Carissa was playing against Anna Zatonsky, and Anna was also playing e6, the French opening, and Carissa played the second move d3 as well.
That's actually a good point, yeah. So maybe Tatev should have been more prepared for this move. We also saw yesterday Anna Sargsyan playing against Tatev's French, going for maybe a similar type of King's Indian setup after knight f3, d5, e5, c5, and then g3 leads to similar structures. But d3 is making the intention very clear that usually when white plays this move, it's going to be a setup-based opening with knight d2, knight f3, g3, bishop g2. And this actually gives me some nostalgia because one of the very first opening traps I learned within the French defense for black was against this move pawn d3.
Oh.
And maybe I can share it. It's a 6-move trap where black will be winning after 6 moves. It starts with d5, knight d2. And in this position, Tatev played knight c6. The trap that I would go for against amateur players is to start with knight f6, most popular move. And a lot of players will default to knight f3 and g3. I don't know if Carissa, I don't think Carissa would do that if you were to play this move order against her. But let's say knight f3, pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn. And now we play an active move, bishop c5. I was checking the stats online, and there's been nearly 20,000 games on Lichess that have featured a very bad blunder from white in this position, pawn to g3. And this move is played because a lot of players are just defaulting to their opening setup without realizing the potential danger in the position. And here it is black to move and just be crushing after next move. I encourage viewers, if you want to try and find the winning move, feel free to pause the broadcast. But if you want to do the honors.
Well, I'm still calculating if there is any like direct attack. But I mean, knight g4 should seal the deal.
Yep.
I was thinking if there is any sacrifice on f2 right away, but I don't see anything. So maybe just knight g4 then.
Simply knight g4. Yeah. White has no good way to defend the f2 pawn. And it's pretty rare that you get to do this with the black pieces. Usually it's white going after f7. Right. But because white has kind of slow played the opening, it is some potential danger for white in this line. And with that in mind, the best move for white is, interestingly enough, bishop to b5 check, where you want to provoke c6, and then move back to e2, and then you're ready to castle. And black doesn't have easy development with knight c6 and e5, which is usually what you want to achieve in the structure.
Wait. Hang on. Yeah. In this position, like bishop f2, knight g4, queen b6, does it work at all?
Oh, you still want to sack?
I just want to sack. But I think after here, you just play king g3.
King g3, yes.
So that should be fine for white. Okay, interesting. Very interesting, Eric.
So going back to what happened in the game, Tatev chose a different opening idea, maybe a more practical opening idea against a strong opponent, knight c6. And her intention is to play pawn to e5 here. Now, I actually had a lesson with Grandmaster Avati Grigorian on the French defense a few months ago, and he was giving me a funny recommendation in this position to play pawn e5 as black, which is very unusual because you're basically playing a reverse Philidor, but you're down 2 tempi because you're black and you've played e6 and then e5. But black could still get away with this, and that's basically what Tatev did in this game. But starting with knight c6 and then play e5. And it's a very ambitious way to play because she's gaining space, but she's lost a bit of time, and as we saw, that came to hurt her in the game because she's behind in development.
Yeah, and later on, Carissa was just playing such an aggressive chess. I think she was trying to redeem herself from the loss against Alice Lee yesterday. She was white, and then she played against the Sveshnikov Sicilian, and she did things that she mustn't have done. So I think she just made a really great comeback on this game, and I'll just quickly put the position where she made the choice of playing such an incredible sacrifice here. So Maurice has already shown us that after, actually in this position, instead of taking the knight on e3, knight e5, followed by knight c5 and so on, is going to be also winning for white because it would be queen versus 2 minor pieces in the end. But also what Carissa has chosen here, f takes e3, is in the same nature as Fabiano's choice of doing the castle instead of playing e4, because they are playing in the rapid game right now and they couldn't really calculate everything. And also I think Carissa would like to pressure on Tatev's time situation there. F takes e3 is the second best move, and it would also do the business here because now Carissa is playing according to the Bobby Fischer spirit, who by the way was born today, March 9th. So all the way until the very end, yeah, Carissa was just playing a very aggressive and very dominant chess. And well, we are going to get ready for the second rapid game. Do you think the players, Tatev and Levon, would be able to make a comeback on the second game?
I'm going to say yes. I think they want to get revenge for losing their first game, and hopefully we'll see more chess today.
Well, let's take a look, and thank you for joining me, Eric.
Thank you.
See you again on the next break.
We're back. Thank you so much, Irene and Eric. Let's take a look at the results. What happened so far today? Only one rapid game is finished. Fabiano Caruana won his game against Levon Aronian, and Carissa defeated Tatev Abrahamyan. It was a beautiful attack by Carissa.
Absolutely, both decisive games. We're in a conflict with Eric and Irene because I kind of like an early day, but today is a very special day.
Yes, it is. We wish a very happy birthday to our own Tyler.
Now, Tyler has been with us for ages. He's been the stage manager on set, getting us drinks and fixing up our mics and just doing a lot. But he got promoted. He's in the production booth these days. We don't get to see much of Tyler, but he's on the slow-mo machine and a great member of the team. Tyler, we really do appreciate you. And
thank you for being with us on your birthday.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, barnacle to a ship. Loyalty.
And now let's take a look at, we have some footage of Carissa. Look how serious she is. She is focused. She wants revenge against Alice. She has to defeat Tatev to make it to the finals.
To get back against Alice. And yeah, we have seen her all smiles throughout the tournament, but today she really put on her warrior face, didn't she? She's
very intimidating. If I was sitting across her, I'd be like, okay, she's got me.
Yeah, there's one fierce player.
And then after the handshake, you can see a little bit of a smile underneath, but still very serious face. Yes,
absolutely. There was one fierce warrior, Garry Kasparov, that after a loss, you did not, when he sat down across the board from you, he was intimidating to begin with. But when he lost a game, it was like he was coming at you with daggers.
Have you faced that?
Oh gosh, yes. Anatoly Karpov and Garry were two of the biggest killers in chess, and yeah, we had some duels, but definitely very fierce. A comeback. How are you going to do that? Well, in Levon's case, maybe he's a little bit inspired by what Wesley managed to do. Wesley had a must-win game with the white pieces. And how did he do it? Well, in Wesley's case, he was putting on some pressure. He won a pawn, and we didn't think that was really going to be enough. I mean, Fabi was defending it very, very nicely, and then it was just this constant pressure. Fabi made one big slip up in the end game and lost. And maybe that's what Levon has to do as well. He's not going to go tactically and, I'm going to have an early attack. But Maurice, what do you do when you need to win with white against a player like Fabiano?
I'll never forget that game that Garry Kasparov won in the last game, that big
Seville?
match against Anatoly Karpov. And everybody thought he's got to win this game or else his title is gone. And he went knight f3,
G3.
G3, and said, let's stay calm. and play a slow, long game. Against Karpov?
Right.
Come on, you're supposed to be sharp, tactical, wild. And no, because when you give players concrete problems to solve, they often figure them out in desperate situations. But if you give them a wide range, and then you start maneuvering and you keep the tension high, and they're desperate to trade off pieces and make that draw, and they're looking for the forced draw, the longer the tension lasts, as long as you're prepared, you prepared yourself mentally to make it last as long as possible and not sweat it. We're going to end here for the long haul, baby. I'm not trading anything off. We're just going to play slow chess and see if you can keep up all the way, even if it takes 50, 60, 70, 80 moves. And I think that's the strategy that cracks the players, even of the elite level. That's what that's what Wesley So did against Fabi. Keep it going, and it still looks equal, and then all of a sudden, whoop, the mistake comes, and you got to be ready to grab it.
Yeah, it took Wesley 60 moves
to
achieve an advantage against Fabi.
And conversely, how about Tatev? Nasi, speak to the challenge that she has facing the number 1 seed, Carissa, with the white pieces. Got to win on demand is Tatev. Now, she keeps coming back. We keep writing her off.
She does have a very tough challenge because it's Carissa, but one thing that's working in favor of Tatev is that Carissa is not a type of player who plays for a draw ever.
She doesn't know how.
I think so. So she's very aggressive, and maybe if Tatev just waits and provokes Carissa to play for a win, maybe Tatev will have some counterattack.
Well, step 1 to that is outfoxing her in the opening. What could Tatev do in the opening to wrong foot Carissa?
Yes, sir, if I knew that, I'd be sitting there instead of Tatev.
And you should. I would have picked you and as my choice to win the game.
Play something other than E4.
Play something other than E4.
Knight F3.
Well, statistically, Dennis told us Knight F3 is the way to go. As we are underway, this is the second rapid games. Play something other than E4? No.
Nah, Tatev was just laugh because that's what she does.
And she's back. Oh, this was the 2 knights, remember, from the classical. And guess what? She won the pawn.
They're repeating their classical game so far.
And where she played bishop D3. Not anymore. It's bishop E2, the old line. So again, great story. Bobby Fischer was playing in a U.S. Open, and he played all night. He'd been hustling Blitz all night, a couple of bucks a game, and had played till late in the morning. And he played against Arthur Bisguier the next day, and he fell asleep at the board. Bobby fell asleep at the board, and Arthur was watching Bobby's clock go down, and this was not the way Arthur wanted to win the game. So Arthur said, I made the biggest mistake. I made the biggest blunder of the game. I said, Bobby, I woke Bobby up. Bobby, are you with us? And Bobby yawned, made a move, slapped the clock, and the game appeared in my 60 memorable games. and Bobby played knight h3, an old idea of Wilhelm Steinitz. I don't think, in case of h6, we're going to see Tatev play like Steinitz and like Bobby Fischer, but for sure she prepared something.
Maybe on Bobby's birthday.
I was going to say, Maurice, yeah, it's his birthday today.
Speaking, Tyler shares Bobby Fischer's birthday. Wow, to think he's no longer with us. Bishop E2, here we go, H6.
Are we going to see knight H3?
Knight F3 has been well, look at this. Tatev is actually thinking over her.
And there it is.
Wow, did I channel Bobby Fischer? What have we? Tyler's done something. I'm blaming Tyler. Now, as a great chess teacher, Maurice, speak to Maddie as she retreats her knight to h3. What would you scold her with?
Well, if you're following Fischer, it's hard
You're not scolding anybody.
Hard for me to open my mouth. It is a very unusual looking move. You think you can take the knight and and double your opponent's pawns, but you do give benefits to white's position. The G file is open. There is, and she has not taken the knight, just developed her piece. And you allow the G file to open. You give a strong bishop as well in diagonals. And white will continue. Remember, white was always up a pawn. So that bishop, you might regret the day you gave up that bishop. And the pieces just come flying out anyway. So that was the logic behind such a move. And she ignored it. Did Carissa and played bishop to e7. Bishop normally goes to c5, so I'm a little bit surprised to see it on that square. But maybe she has a specific line in mind.
Well, we are following the precepts of theory up to and including the move d3. Castles, according to my database, has something like 16 games in the database. Castles short by black, and I'm sure castling by white. So the whole idea of this retreat knight h3, why are we retreating the knight to h3? Well, if we retreat the knight to f3, as is the standard, that, bishop e2, h6, this is all the standard moves. The problem is not just the move queen d4, but there's bishop c5. There's a number of moves where the knight ends up getting tempoed all over the board. And I remember, analyzing these this variation as a kid, literally on my mother's kitchen table, right? Where the knight on e5 remains a target. So the whole point of the move knight h3 is you're just removing it as a target and saying, I'm going to accept the double pawns. Go ahead and take, I'm a pawn up, and if you don't play knight h3, then you're not really going to interfere with the rest of my development. My development will be knight d2, knight f3, and maybe I'll even play king h1, by the way, and withdraw my knight to g1.
So it's never because of f4 ideas, right? Knight h3 doesn't really support f4 in any way?
No. It's not based on, in fact, it's based on keeping the position closed. By the way, I'm really surprised, but rook b8 is still a move. Well, we're still in theory, castles. Well, actually, castles is a, how about this? Previously played in this position was knight b3, not a bad move at all. But castles is a novelty.
Yasser,
please.
I'd like to make this point. As we understand, and I know, of course, you know, just so share with the audience, is that theory is a combination of what's been analyzed, written down, or put in books, or in a database, but analyzed only, and what has been played, right, in practice, practice. And so just because it has been played doesn't mean it's any good.
No.
So they're following, we say they're following theory, they're following sometimes something that a grandmaster has analyzed very carefully and said, this is good, that's good, or that's good. Or they may be following something somebody played in a bullet game that just came to their head. And so when you now say theory about those kinds of moves, clearly they haven't been properly vetted. And maybe later somebody vets them and goes, oh, no, that doesn't belong in theory, but it will look to seem that way in the database. So a move like rook b8, for example, in this game, the engine says, well, if you went home and looked at this position, the right move is knight g1.
Right.
Which is kind of a funny move to see played on the board. The knight now wants to go to f3 when there is no e4. That makes sense to chase it away. And that would have been a different kind of nuance. Now, I'm not that impressed by that at all. What I am curious about, though, is this position that's also theory, so to speak. Here, it's very natural to imagine the bishop on c5 or a bishop on d6, actually, a very strong-looking move. The intent to play e4 and deter you from castling. But bishop e7 is not one of those moves you're that impressed by. You say, okay, you got to develop the bishop. But let's make this point as well. Carissa needs a draw, and she plays a line that sacks a pawn for compensation right out the opening. we were wondering what she would do, and she just can't help herself. She's not going to play some kind of solid position and insist on white finding some play. She's like, nah, I'm sacking a pawn for some initiative. That's how I do.
She doesn't play Petrov or Berlin now. She goes for the pawn sacrifice.
Well, as we said at the start of the show, she doesn't know how to play for a draw, and she's playing her aggressive brand of chess, and she's not going to adjust her style to suit the demands of the tournament, which are qualified for the next stage. What we have, however, is Tatev saying, look, I'm not playing Fischer random. I just took a pawn, in an open position. My next moves, I'll start to readjust and shift my pieces back towards the center. Bishop f3, safe king. Looking at that knight on g1. Yeah, I'd rather have the knight on f3, but
no, it
where's
looks
the
quite
compensation?
Safe. Exactly, where is the compensation? I mean, White's still behind in development on the queen side, but that's not a big problem.
And I do want to emphasize that if Carissa does bring her knight back to c6, the knight on a5 is not playing a major role. It does invite knight to c4. The knight will be very delighted with this very
Carissa
nice.
has played an aggressive move, f5.
Of course, as we
Looks
could
good.
expect. And I'm sure we're about to see bishop f3 by Tatev.
One
Tatev
surprising thing is
Yes.
that Tatev is ahead on the clock. She has a 3-minute advantage. She surprised Carissa with that knight h3 move.
And I think also it's not just that, but I think the to be resolute about it, Tatev's problem in the tournament, she's gotten herself into trouble when she's really, really low on time. I think there's something, sometimes you hope it just clicks, like the people who like time trouble, that they will just wake up and say, I don't want to live like this anymore. I mean, I've got to stop doing this to myself.
Can you change your lifetime habits overnight, though?
It's hard. It's hard. But bishop f3, the move f5, well, okay, it stops knight e4, but speak to f5. What on earth? Why doesn't that just weaken the e5 pawn?
It does weaken the e5 pawn, but
So
I think
if I
Carissa's
go
prepared
bishop
to
f3 and
put the
rook
bishops
e1.
on e6 and f6 probably.
So you'll put the bishop on f6. I'll put the rook on e1 because that's the way.
Knight
we do.
c6. Let's bring that knight back in the game.
Knight to c6, knight to c4.
You're still not threatening my pawn, and do you have other pieces?
No, it's still, I've still got c2, c3, bishop to d2. I still got a lot of development moves to go. Oh, she put her knight on g1. Sorry.
F3.
Let's rewind this whole thing because Tatev said, I'd rather have my bishop on f1, and then instead of having my knight on g1, I want to put the rook on e1. I think this is the setup she wants. She wants to play rook e1, bishop to f1, send my pawn up,
And knight c4, yeah.
and knight c4. Okay, fair. I like
The
that
Black's
setup.
position looks pretty decent. Let's check with the other game.
Let's do it because we think that.
Levon needs a win against Fabi to stay in the tournament and force the playoffs. We had the Sicilian.
Okay.
Was it the Sveshnikov?
No, it's a Russellino.
No, Russellino, sorry, yes.
With d3, not bishop takes c6 and those variations with b2, b3. No, e5. Okay, f6.
I think
Whoa.
This is all theory.
So Levon said, you've got the two bishops, but much like Carissa, I've got an extra pawn. So I'm a happy camper.
What do we think of this pawn structure and two bishops for black, but double pawns? White's rook is very active, but the knight's not so happy on e1.
One of the things that I agreed, everything agreed. Thanks to this rook on e7, it's really annoying. In some ways, it dominates the light squared bishop. Like if I play h3, you go bishop f5, I go g4. Because you got to go all the way back, right? So this rook on e7 is really aggravating. And that's why I think Fabi had to play the move rook e8 to get rid of that. Now, against h3,
Maybe he has bishop e2 here? Although I'm scared to put my bishop there and get trapped.
Exactly. h3, bishop e2. I would be afraid that after the immediate f3 or just waiting. I mean,
well, f3 bishop d4 check, but eventually I can get trapped. Yes.
f3 bishop d4 check, king moves. But yeah, I'm thinking h3 bishop goes back to d8 knight will, or should I be playing c2 c3? But then okay, having a little difficulty here, just figuring it out. Okay, another approach.
h3 played.
He did play h3. I was about to say another approach would be to play f3, king f1, but h3 on the board. And now Fabi has to prove his...
Where to put the bishop, right? f5, c8, e2. Those are all the options.
Yeah, f5. I'd want to keep the e2 square covered so that in case we trade rooks, there's no rook e2 coming. Bishop f5.
Board. What if Levon doesn't want to trade the pair of rooks? Because he has a very active rook on the 7th rank. Can he keep that rook alive and try moving the rook?
Okay, the one thing I was worried about, I must say, is rook e2. I just don't want to see a coordinated attack.
c3 now?
Yes, exactly. I just wouldn't want to see. And here I might be a little bit...
That's unpleasant.
It's not what I would call squeaky clean.
Yeah.
No, that's not a clear. But king f1, maybe with the idea of avoiding the rook trade. Maurice, weigh in on this one.
Yeah, this one's cagey. We see he's played b3, giving entire air along the long diagonal for that bishop on g7, but he decided enough is enough already. Remember, this is a must-win game for him, and Tatev in the other board finds herself in a must-win situation as well, and we were talking about the clock advantage in that game, and look now what has occurred. She had a 3-minute edge, but she's now staring at a position that she herself would like as black. No question, Tatev loves active play, sacrificing material for the attack, and she's found herself having to play some nuanced defensive moves. It took her a long time to find that move, bishop f1, one of the top 2 moves in the position. Look how quickly her opponent responded. There's a strategy here at work that has caused a lot of success for players in this event, and that's a simple strategy. It's called play good moves quickly. Don't sit there analyzing too much. Trust your intuition and play what looks to you to be a sensible move, and just make it. Don't calculate too much. Make sure you're not blundering, but if besides that, don't do Lasker's dictum of you see a good move, look for a better one. It's just best to play the natural move quickly, and that time starts to add up rapidly in this rapid format.
Thank you, Maurice, and I would say that is most especially true in rapid chess. In classical chess, you might feel that in key moments or moments that you feel are critical, you could use that extra time. Not here.
In rapid chess, better quote is, you see a good move, make it.
Make it. Let's go. And do it quickly. I'm thinking, I'm always about how to improve my pieces. I ask everybody, yeah, I've got a lot of improvements to be made. One of them includes my king. I actually like the pawn on f2 to be defended. I'd like to be off at this diagonal. Yes, I could play g3 and bishop g2, but I might get concerned that e4 will cause an accident. Maybe that's not true, by the way, but because of that concern, I would be playing king g1, g3, bishop g2. I would also be playing king g1, c3, c3, with the idea that I could bring my queen out, or maybe even play for a3.
You can play queen c2, b3, develop.
Slowly unwind. But essentially, I would not be spending 5 minutes over c3 and king g1 or a3 or rook b1 or any of those moves, but rather play them quickly.
Yasser, a move you didn't mention, which is very powerful at the moment, is the move knight to b3.
Or even knight b3. We had actually seen that in another, a little bit earlier, actually, well, in the theory.
But I want to point out,
Yeah.
I want to point out something that would concern me, and I think is concerning Tatev, and she finally did play it. You have to play this move knowing that at this moment, e4 doesn't work. That e4 is not a good idea because this looks like the blast move. You remember that game? Which game was it? Oh, it was in this exact same line where Carissa played for queen b6 with the
Yes.
bishop on c5 and played for e4.
Right.
Right? It was the exact same line. And she wanted so bad to play e4, and then she eventually even got as far as the pawn being on e3, right? Like that's the move. That's the money move, e4. And look at Carissa now. She is eyeing e4 as a possibility, but it doesn't work. And Tatev had to establish that it doesn't work. Why not? Because you could take on e4, and just when you think you're doing well here as black, like getting some play, opening up some lines for my pieces, this is my counterplay, suddenly, a surprise to see Tatev get up from the board there, suddenly comes the move, knight takes c5. And that gives a huge advantage to white because after takes, you could take on e8 with check and take on b7 with the knight, hitting both knights in this position, one with your knight and the other with your queen. This is a very nice variation if she sees it. Will Carissa back off? Because Carissa, you know, she's just like uncontrolled fury when she gets a chance. And she will inspect the move, but maybe her tactical awareness will prevent her from eventually playing. And I'm looking at her there. But there's no question after knight to b3, it's a move she would have liked to play, but she decided, nah, I'm not taking any chances. And now the queen is actually on b6, somewhere we saw it go before in that game we talked about previously. Avoiding, am I missing something?
Defending c5. Carissa defended c5 in that variation you were just showing us, Maurice.
Right. Well, what's wrong with taking the pawn? This is a line we have to look at. Oh, sorry. What am I talking about? Sorry. I'm blind. I missed something straightforward. Thought I had some kind of thing going there. But okay, so that is nothing. She's just defending the c5 pawn. Now, this move was not necessarily the best move. Queen c7 is considered slightly better. But queen b6, now we can get back to the c3 ideas. What I like about what Carissa is doing, though, is a little bit of patience as she's trying to be active. White now has to play the move c3. And this rook, remember we talked about this Maddie rook? Rook to d8. And this position, you have to start defending accurately with this move. It's not an easy position for Tatev to play. Let's just get it straight there. It's not an easy position for her to play because she wants to play black. Let's be clear. Tatev would prefer to play black in this position, and defending takes time, which is critical. Take a look at that clock. Running out of time as we speak.
Right, she's now below 4 minutes below Carissa's clock. Yes, sir. Natural moves here. Do you take on a5 and bring the other knight to d2 and c4?
I definitely find myself attracted to that, no question about it, because I love the c4 square.
We need to put one of our knights on c4.
Exactly. The thing that I'm more concerned about, though, is the pawn on f2 is kind of undefended. I wouldn't want to see a line where c4 for argument's sake lands and a queen on f2.
Guess what?
I find she traded.
We have those exact moves on the board.
Absolutely, and I think that was a wise decision.
So that there's
actually.
no c4 and f2 is not hanging.
Precisely. So you kind of sidestep that. You're still about c2, c3. For those of the members in the audience who play the Philidor's defense, the Philidor's defense as black gives up a lot of space. But the idea behind the Philidor is that fundamentally your pawn structure is intact. There's no real weaknesses for your opponents to attack. A lot of space, of course, but from Tatev's point of view, she could play king G1 and C3.
Yes, sir. I'm so sorry. I think
Please.
we have to jump to Levon's game real quick because he has this
Whoa.
amazing opportunity right now. If he finds it,
Check it out. Yes, go ahead.
in the current position,
Yes.
Bishop F6 tactic. Look at that.
Wow, look, what a beautiful move that is. You don't see that often.
It wins the D6 pawn because it forces Fabi to take on E7.
Right.
You can't allow the windmill, right?
Exactly. This rook G6 check, rook G7 check idea. But bishop F6, you don't see that often when there's a bishop on the long diagonal that you have bishop
Since
F6.
Fabi's last move, D4, allows bishop F6. And
that was the
Levon
blunder.
has all the time in the world, to almost 21 minutes to find bishop F6.
I'm sure it went through his head.
He'll be up 2 pawns.
From Levon's, from Fabi's point of view, he did this because he wanted to literally arrest the white rook and say your rook can't be activated, but he has missed bishop F6. Will he find it?
Has, and let's remind everyone what happened in round 1 of Rappi.
Look at that!
Oh,
I was going to say.
He found. Oh, that tricky
And you see
Levon.
that Fabiano won the first game, so Levon absolutely needs a win in the second game, and he's getting closer and closer to that desired result.
Wow.
And Carissa also has a lead over Tatev Abrahamyan, so Tatev needs a win to stay in the tournament.
The elimination bracket, everybody's fighting for that grand final of his seat. Maurice.
I just wanted to say, Levon doesn't miss moves like that.
No, he doesn't.
I was going to bet before you guys moved away. I was going to say, Levon sees bishop F6.
Nobody's taking your wager. No.
Yeah, no, that one is one that he just spots. And now Fabi. And the other thing is that Fabi is truly uncomfortable in the position because you saw bishop D4 and bishop to C3 and D4. But guess what? Look how much time he burned to get to that point. It shows that he's not confident playing this position. It wasn't easy to just play with flow. We saw the last couple of moves with H3 and knight F3, B3 a long time ago. And it was all Fabi sitting on the position. Then when he finally got there, he played D4 and blundered it. And just blundered bishop F6. And now he's thinking, what the heck? You really, though, don't see this tactic every day. No. It's a beautiful little idea. And rook G7 coming next. This is an ugly pawn to have to lose in this position. And his position could fall apart just about immediately.
Yeah.
Fabi in big trouble right now, both on the board and on the clock.
Again, Levon is a pawn up, and any trades on E7 will cost Fabi D6 pawn. That's 2 pawns. That should be sufficient for Levon to win and tie the match. You know, we've had some long days broadcasting. I came in thinking, okay, let's play 2 rapid games and get out of here. Something
wishful
tells
thinking,
me that I was wishful thinking for sure. It looks like Blitz in this one, and let me just check on Tatev because Tatev needs a win to force a Blitz game. And after the trade, knight to D2, the queen came back to C7 already. The knight showed up on C4. Normally speaking, I would want to prep that. I would want to play moves like G3 and C3 before jumping with my knight to C4, because after the move knight to B6, I don't want to take on B6, and I don't want to play B3 either.
No, Again, bishops are just better placed than white's bishops, and after the knight trade, I'm liking black's position very much.
I don't want to do it. Carissa needs only a draw. While we were discussing the Fabi game, it occurred to me that this would be the second time that Fabi needs to draw with black.
Yes, first time against
Wesley.
Yep.
He did not achieve it. Wesley won with the black pieces.
It was class. Are you
that
talking about
classic.
The Blitz?
Well, it was the classical game that, and now I'm talking about the rapid game. In this rapid game, that Fabi, he's not holding a draw when the position in the tournament really requires just a draw.
I see Levon walking around and checking out
Levon's
this game.
as happy as happy as a
if
cardinal.
I may,
Please, Maurice.
This position that Tatev is playing, I mean, it looks as though trading on b6 would be a bad idea, right?
Right.
But, and it looks like a trade has happened in this current position. But trading knights, and you see there Carissa decided to keep building in the position. Trading knights, remember, Tatev is up a pawn.
Yep.
So you might say, oh, I like black's position, but black's down a pawn. Does black have sufficient compensation at the b file? For example, knight takes b6 here. Are you going to take back with a pawn in this position? Because knight takes b6 can now say, okay, now the b file is shut. Maybe I play a move, let's say, for example, queen h5, and you don't feel as though white is in trouble. You like optically the space for black, but is black sufficient? Does black have sufficient compensation here, given this kind of move? Black definitely has compensation. But if you defend and a move like a4 comes, white is saying, I got a little something now. I'm still doing my thing, even though you have more space and I have to sit back here. So definitely has to be careful in that line. Carissa instead played this move, rook to d8, and I don't think her opponent has moved yet. Let me just check. All right, she hasn't moved yet. She's building. This line here, she's building and building. e4 may come at any point, and that queen h5 move is possible. The agent says queen h5 is a pretty good move. I may not have to defend, though. I may go active with knight to b4, and your pawn is hanging. Thanks for moving your queen away. Even here, the agent says rook e2 is a good move. Now, this, I would say, I'd be scared. The agent's giving white better, but, man, look at all this great activity. Can you defend with the ticking clock being the key? Can you defend this position as white, given the multiplicity of threats black's going to suddenly start having, threatening c2, preparing moves like e4 eventually? That's, I think, going to be the bigger challenge for Tatev, dealing with black's space and initiative with all the pieces on the board.
Thank you, Maurice. Carissa's position looks very solid at the moment. I think we should watch Levon's game against Fabi, because Levon has this amazing opportunity to even the score. He's up 2 pawns at the moment.
Oh, I'm about to say, you're going to say a3, aren't you?
I was.
a3 and knight takes d4. Yes. No, that's beautiful. I love it.
But maybe he doesn't want to go in the opposite color bishops, even with 2 pawns up.
No,
it improves the position.
It's so nice because the bishop is actually, there was a pin, bishop f. There's a curse going on here. This dark square bishop from black, whether it be on c3 or whether it's on b4, is cursed. It keeps getting wrong-footed.
95. I think he has different plans, but yes, you read my mind. Yes.
I love it. I think that this would have been actually just winning. In my mind, this is lost. This is not even worth discussing. It's over. This is perfect, picture perfect for white.
But Levon's move 95 also looks very much winning.
I think what Levon's intention is a little bit more brutal. He wants to play knight to c4 and a3.
And just win the c5 pawn.
And just win the c5 pawn.
That's crushing.
You can't blame him, actually. I mean, the man has a point. I mean, if you play rook f6 and knight to c4, you're probably inclined to play bishop e6 here as well. But that should be a winning position. Okay, let's just take a look. a3, bishop takes c4, right?
Yeah, take on c4. I can probably just take on c4 and still be winning.
I take on. This is This is the bishops of opposite color.
But with too many extra pawns, pawns.
In a different way too, right? Oops.
Yeah, I think Fabi knows that this game is over. You can read it on his body language. Fabi never sits like this.
No, you're absolutely right. And after 97, I think we actually have a different move. He has played the move rook to a7.
He must be absolutely frustrated that he missed this bishop f6 move.
He looks distraught. I mean, he's just like, what? Where's my coffee? What have I done? I mean, this was a man who had won his first game against Wesley Sloan in the Classical. He was all but, give me the champion's bonus check. Tell me who I got.
Give me the rest day.
Give me the rest day. Who have I got in the grand finals? Dude, you got to fight your way to the grand finals.
And then he came in today, won his first round, Only needs a draw with black pieces, but in a lost position at the moment.
Knight c4. Levon says, look, I've got a single idea. It's a pretty darn good idea, by the way. And Fabi says, well, what can I do about that? Actually, not much. Rook a3, his intention, I guess, is to go into a lost ending that would look like this.
Are we winning the a5 pawn as well?
Correct. Rook a1, king f1, making sure that there's no cheapos down the e file. By the way, rook e6 would walk into g4. So yes, cruise control now for Levon. He's just putting the finishing touches on. Somehow he tricked him in the opening and tricked him in the middle game, Maurice.
Indeed, and I echo that sentiment. You're trying to play for a world championship. You're trying to prove that you are the man everybody should be paying attention to. And getting in this situation where you are leading in a match and then you lose. Mm-hmm. And then you're leading in another match and now you're about to lose again. And you could see it on his face. Like, this is just ridiculous. Come on. I need to be able to show I'm the big dog. And when I'm leading, everybody else cries because I will press and put your lights out. So this is not a great moment for him, but an opportunity, nevertheless, to think about what he needs to do in order to be successful when this situation arises in a month's time, if he has that good opportunity. The other game, Carissa Yip is playing really solid chess, befitting the fact that she only needs a draw despite being down a pawn, not trying to press the initiative. Take a look at what happened after rook b8. Tatev should have placed a queen on h5 because it improves the queen, but that knight b4 idea scared her off, which looks scary to me as well. Bishop d2, let's play solidly. Queen f7, now your queen doesn't get to h5, let's control that square. Well, a3, what do you plan to do? Well, what do you plan to do? Let me just get my bishop back. Knight a5 is no longer a thought. You're the one who has to beat me. Let me see what you do. I don't have to push, press, weaken something or show me something. And that move, that strategy of just sitting there now despite being down a pawn has caused Tatev to go into a tailspin on the clock despite her best efforts. She's now down to almost under 8 minutes and needing a plan somewhere, somehow. You can't shuffle forever, be in the ranks, in the position. Maybe she should have just played king g1, but she has to be concerned about something like queen g6 landing on the board with just ghost potential, not necessarily anything. She's got the g2 square defended, but you just can never tell. Knight f4 might happen at any point. So perfect play by Carissa at the moment, as Tatev has now played a move. Did I see her play a move?
A3.
Yeah, she played rook to b1. Rook to b1, getting her rook off the line with the potential to play b4. Carissa has nothing really concrete, but sort of neither does Tatev. b4, though, b4 is an idea. It says, I might do something. So, yes, she does have to now start to think about the fact that her opponent is trying to make some progress in the position.
Thank you, Maurice. Actually, to my way of thinking, I'm a pawn up. Mm-hmm. Where is my majority? Majority is on the queen side. a3, b4 makes a lot of sense. And it made a lot of sense before I played rook b1 as well. I mean, had Tatev played b4, these types of sacrifices, because I do like playing
especially
two pawns,
when you have to play for a win.
And especially when I have to, that's the magic words. 2 pawns and a bishop against a rook. I see I got knight d6 on tap, and I need an imbalance, a favorable imbalance, and I've got the 2 bishops. Along with, if you don't mind me saying, I once again, I would find myself attracted to this variation that Maurice was pointing out. Even after knight f4, I like this position for white. I'll trade, and again, I'm going to play knight versus bishop and play bishop to g2. I think this is a way also for Tatev to play for a win. We know she needs it, but she did play rook b1, king
Carissa
h8.
might be preparing some g5s. What do you think?
Yep, that's
She's
Carissa.
not going to sit and wait for Tatev to create her pass pawn on the queen side.
Sometimes the hardest thing on chess is to sit on your hands and not damage your own position. G5 is one of those moves that, well, you know, I mean, I understand you're playing for a win, but did you really need to play? But okay, Tatev should not be thinking now. Like she's getting seriously behind on the clock. At one point, she actually had a time advantage. B4. What have you been doing with bishop to D2, A3, rook B1? Now you're going to rethink B4.
It's not like she can slow down G5 or anything. So go play B4 and
Let's
start your
go.
play. And she's done it.
And she's played it, but there is a
quickly.
flaw.
Yep.
There's a flaw. There's the move E4.
I understand. Yeah. E4.
E4.
Yeah. And I would probably have to cover the C3 square, something like rook B3.
You should point out that you can't capture on E4.
Yeah, at least I'm kind of untangling my pieces somewhat.
But you're opening up that A8 bishop, the monster.
I'm not opening up. Carissa's opening up the monster. I'm trying to. I would rather have seen my. Here we go.
E4 is on the board.
Carissa says, you know, I've been playing for central control. I've got my rooks on the open file. Pardon me. I've got my rooks on the central files. Let me open up the center. She's thrown out E4. And Maurice, my engine says black's for choice. Is it really Carissa for choice here in your view?
Yes. And Carissa's king H8 was meant for this purpose, to wait to see her opponent play the move E4. B4. She had planned E4. You saw her do it instantly. She wasn't surprised. She saw the possibility of the advance, and she saw the C3 square, and she said, let me just make a move and see if she plays it. Because she had this bomb waiting to go off, and she saw the move, and now she played E4. The point being that takes is instantly met by knight to C3, and your position is now in tatters. She knew that's what was going to be the case with her opponent in time pressure. There was no reason for Tatev to play the move. She could have chilled for a moment, but a move like king to G1, you know, maybe she might play G5, and you say, okay, now you've opened up a little bit. Maybe now I can go for a move like B4 because you're starting to extend yourself and takes. And E4, in this position, your move, Yasser, rook to B3, guess what? I might swing all the way across with your king sitting there. So Tatev had to wait just a little bit more. She couldn't play the waiting game, however. She decided to go after this line. And now we have a position on the live board that
Queen
she
C1.
is regretting having. And she's played the move Queen C1.
Yes, just now.
And hoping there may be a tactic somewhere. Basically what she's done is she's taken her queen off the line, and they're in a brawl now. Bishop to D4 played, attacking a pawn. The same diagonal she had that attack. Didn't she attack F2 in the previous iteration of the game that they played?
Yes, exactly so. In their previous game where they played the two knights, Carissa had a queen B6 going after F2. From afar, I had always wanted to play king G1 just to keep that F2. And now it's happening with tempo. I don't know. I'm not really anxious to walk into king G1 anymore.
But I think you have to not give up the F2 pawn.
Well, I definitely don't want to give up the F2 pawn. Can I block the attack against F2?
Maybe if you're allowing some F4s.
Yeah, the engine did not like my choice at all.
Did you notice that Levon was pacing back and forth watching Tatev's game?
No, I was so focused on the position. I didn't see. I do see that Levon enjoys walking around
even
during
the rapid
play.
time control.
Yeah, Peter Svidler was another top grandmaster that just loved strolling around the tournament hall. I tried. Well, it's not like Bonvinnik ever told me what to do, but he basically said something like, when you're playing chess, you have to tune out the world. There's only one thing that matters. That's your game.
Right.
And that's pretty decent advice, right? If you think about it.
Easier said than done, though.
Yeah, and the problem I always found is when I walked around the tournament hall,
you lost focus?
Everybody was playing interesting games, much more interesting than mine. I'd end up be calculating somebody else's game on board 42.
I know for a fact Levon does that too. He calculates everybody's positions. But right now he's a few moves away, I think, from even
putting
the
the
score.
finishing touches on this one, Maurice.
Not this one, yes. We know this one's over, but take a look at the other game because Tatev did not defend correctly in this position. The King G1 move was necessary. Instead, she played this move, Knight to E3. You see the engine drop.
Didn't like it, no.
Way down in the eval bar. What's interesting here is she has to find the only move that actually gives her a big edge, and that one's over now, as we expected. But the only move that gave her a big edge was, what did we get? The backward knight move. This move here. By the way, in the other match, they're tied now, so let's just clean that up. They're tied. They're going to have to come back to decide it in Blitz. But this one, this backward knight, we've seen these backward knight moves. They're popping up. So you want to co-write a book on the art of retreat?
The art of the retreat, yes.
I mean, this move is
hot summer school.
is tremendous, and you're planning to bring your queen over and start attacking on this side with the knight coming to G4. Instead, she said, what art of retreat? I'm going forward like everybody else would do in this position with the threat on D3, with you having only 3 minutes and 17 seconds left on your clock. Let's see you defend this one. Tatev can't be happy here as all of Black's pieces look absolutely fantastic.
But wait, we're talking the art of retreat, Maurice. How about knight to D1?
Whoa. You're going you're going overboard. Knight to D1 in this position is just asking for it.
I'm not sure. The engine did not like the art of retreat.
The rook on E1 is hanging in this position after takes. So you might want to clean the business up here and then take on F4. But now you find a rook on E1 and might start regretting winning the piece.
My king on G1 for crying out loud.
That is not the thing. The king wants to be back on G1. She did play the best move, however, against that last move, takes. And here,
King G1 on the board.
No,
she took on E4. This is a very smart move. This is a very smart move because there is no way, no how that Carissa wants to take on E4 with a pawn, which is the engine saying that is the best way to play.
Which blocks the bishop.
And the rook on the E file.
And the rook.
You just played E4. You don't want to block everything up. You're going to play bishop takes. Now, bishop takes is perfectly fine, but it does allow the move F3, however, and she's trying to push you back just a bit. Your bishop goes backwards, let's say, and now she might play C4 and say, wait, I think I have a passer. What do you actually have? How do you break in? Now, I'm not saying this is perfectly wonderful and okay, but at least you finally start to breathe a little bit.
Good point. Good point.
So this is an actual moment in the game.
Where you got this kind of defensive host.
Also, Tatev's down to 2.5 minutes against Carissa's 11. Can she figure out how to not get checkmated here with all Carissa's pieces looking at her king?
And by the way, Carissa did what a good attacking player is going to do, which is to keep the position open for her rook and for her bishop. Yeah, she didn't make the computer engine's move. Now it's up to Tatev played C3. The move C4, I really like C4 because it actually also gives you a little space.
But I like
Queen
that she
C2.
included C3, kicking the bishop back, and then she can play C4. With the tempo also wanting to go C5.
Depending on where the bishop goes, too.
I just assumed it would go to B6, but you're right, it has other options.
But by the way, if you go to B6, knight C4 becomes attractive, right?
Yep.
Knight C4, give me that. I want to take the bishop off the board. Wait a minute, Tatev is,
She's coming back.
it's the clock is the problem. The position has actually improved dramatically for her. Queen C2
I like the
attacks
C4
the
move you
pawn.
suggested, Yasser, now.
c4. That was Maurice. But I like knight c4. I like queen c7. Pardon me,
is on
queen
B6.
c2. Oh, pardon me. I like queen c2. Like, I'm a pawn grabber. I like knight c4.
She's done it. Queen c2.
I like knight c4. Give me that knight.
Are
Give
there
me that
some
bishop.
tactics here already for black, though? Again, Carissa only needs a draw. So knight, queen h5 or knight h3 or some ideas like that, right?
Knight
There's got to be some
h3.
perpetuals there.
Wow.
Or it
It's
might be
become
early.
it's become a 3-result game. For a moment there, I thought Tatev after e4. Let's be very clear. It turns out that knight going to f4 was wrong, and the bishop capturing on e4, according to our engine.
Yeah, if
was
Carissa's
wrong.
knight went back to f6,
It was bad. It
completely
was bad
different
for
game.
Tatev. But now Tatev is saying, okay, I'm still a little cramped. You still have the freer pieces, but I'm ready to play knight takes f5. What are you going to do about it?
Wait, knight f5. Yeah.
It's coming, right?
I don't have a waiting move because of that. You're right.
Because there's a back rank
Because of the rook hanging
on e8. The
on
bishop.
e8. There's the bishop hanging on d2, but there's the e8 problem.
Right.
There's this move that was pointed out, knight h3 by the engine. That's not a move I think we're going to see. That would be a shocker, actually, if it was played, because it's possible to take this and then bring the knight back, and you have no forcing line here. The engine gives the best move is rook e4. I'm going to just chill and keep my pieces in your face. And again, c4 play like I'm too deep for words. This one, c5, bishop back, king g1, and now the engine gives rook g4. Check her pockets, please. Check the pockets. Sorry, what is this?
Wand.
Yes.
Check.
So it's unlikely she's going to play such a move. She's looking maybe at more normal moves. Like you said, queen h5 could be played in this position. Keep the flow going on that side.
But isn't there a back? Doesn't black have a back rank problem after queen takes f5?
Queen takes f5 can be met by rook takes on e3.
She played a move, which is rook f8, and I saw the eval bar went up all the way for Tatev. Let's see what happened.
And now Tatev is back. Knight c4. And she's winning.
Winning.
Just simple chess.
Incredible turnaround here. Knight c4, and let's see why.
Well, rook f8, knight c4 is the reprieve, the one tempo that Tatev was desperate to get in. I had a thought of knight takes g2.
Now?
Yeah, because bishop takes g2, queen c4, right? So I just wanted to make sure that tactically.
Okay, I mean, king g2 though, right?
Well.
Oh. Okay, so there has to be an in-between move like knight b6 or something.
No, knight e5. Knight e5 is the threat. Knight e5 is the whole threat in this.
Let me show you in the final position what you might have missed. Knight e5. Oh my gosh.
And it's with a check on
With
f7.
a check. I
Because
take
otherwise
your
you have
rook.
knight e1.
I'm taking your queen. That's check. And I recapture.
It's easy to miss, honestly.
Knight e5. That clinches the game. Wait a minute.
I guess the only move for Carissa is bishop c7 to defend the knight. And
Knight's going to e5 anyway.
Knight e5.
Knight is going to e5. That's.
And you've got to give up the dark squared bishop?
No, I don't want to.
What a turnaround. Now white has...
Healthy extra pawn.
White has the pawn in the compensation.
Yes, and the position.
And the two bishops.
Wow.
And the bishop stuck on a8 now,
Rook
biting
F8
on granite.
By Carissa. That was
just
bad.
a really bad move.
Oh my gosh. Erica and Irene on our mid-game show there said they're expecting that there would be an overtime. Well, Eric, you sure nailed it. Boy. And knight did drop back to g6. Carissa saw the knight was going to e5, but guess what? I am taking that bishop with both hands. And the next thing I'm doing is, because we all know
And
Yasser
look at
likes a
Tatev, she's
safe king.
playing so fast. She knows she has a chance to win this game and equalize the score, and she's playing extremely fast to not fall farther behind on the clock.
And White's king, by the way, you put the bishops on F1 and F2. Look at Anatoly Karpov's games when he ever plays the Decisive. He was masterful at keeping a safe king. In this case,
Pawns are just pushing themselves now, right?
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh no!
What just
blundered in
happened?
one
Oh
move.
my goodness.
Are you kidding me?
Oh no.
Bishop to D4.
Oh, she's in
Oh, poor
shock.
Tatev, this is just
What is her facial
Very
expression
unlucky.
right now? She must be stunned beyond
Horrified.
belief.
Horrified. We've all been there. We've all made these errors.
Can we
Just a
see
gift
Tatev's
to
face?
Carissa.
I mean,
And
do we have a
Carissa,
camera on that? Because there it is.
yeah.
Absolute dejection and
Resign.
frustration at what she just did. She had to
Wow.
resign after getting a winning position.
C4, as you said, plays itself.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no
that's
question.
just heartbreaking, but
Oh.
it happens.
For Carissa, it means a rematch. She gets to go to the grand finals and play her good frenemy,
Alice Lee
Alice Lee.
and Tatev gets eliminated.
Wow, but Tatev was just on the cusp of just
She
tying
played
this
so
match.
well. She came all the way back in this game. She was close to really winning,
Well,
and just one move blunder.
One move on. And again, we've all been there. We've all done that. One of the things that tragically, and I have this mental blockade too, when I do put my pieces and they're defended by pawns.
You think they're safe.
Right. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. That's exactly it. And she just forgot there's a pin down the C file. She can't recapture the rook. There goes the queen. She blundered a piece. Tatev said,
And you see,
I just don't have the
Carissa didn't
energy."
even look at it twice.
I
The
know.
the speed
Just
with
like,
which she took on
hey,
D4.
if your opponent's going to give you a gift, you accept it. Well, what it means is that we still have a result. We still have a playoff, a Blitz
Yes,
playoff
the
to go.
women's elimination bracket is over. Carissa Eve advances and Tatev Abrahamyan goes home. But in the Open, Levon managed to equalize the match against Fabiano, and they'll be back to play the Blitz playoff.
Very, very shortly.
And we're gonna see tomorrow grand finals. It's again Carissa Eve against Alice Lee. They just played yesterday.
I know. It's like, do I have to play you again, a perpetual opponent?
They're
The
very
guy would
evenly
say.
matched, as you can see. Alice managed to win the Blitz playoff 2-0 yesterday, but Carissa will have a chance to win the finals.
As we go on break, I think Irene is going to be back with husband Eric. And in the meanwhile, don't go anywhere. We've got Blitz.
Season.
Whoa. Blunder the bishop.
Years of preparation, decades of battles, brilliance, heartbreak, and fearless sacrifices have led to this moment. 8 elite grandmasters will face off, and only one will earn the right to challenge for the World Championship. 2 American powerhouses return to the gauntlet, chasing redemption and a shot at the crown from the youngest world champion in history. Is this their year, or will a new contender seize the spotlight? The road to the title runs through the 2026 FIDE candidates. Watch it at stlouischessclub.org. Years of preparation, decades of battles, brilliance, heartbreak, and fearless sacrifices have led to this moment. 8 elite grandmasters will face off, and only one will earn the right to challenge for the World Championship. 2 American powerhouses return to the gauntlet, chasing redemption and a shot at the crown from the youngest world champion in history. Is this their year, or will a new contender seize the spotlight? The road to the title runs through the 2026 FIDE candidates. Watch it at stlouischessclub.org.
And we're back with four-time U.S. Women's Champion Carissa Yip, who has eliminated Tatev Abrahamyan in a rapid playoff. Carissa, we saw the tale of two games. The first game, man, you just went straight for her and managed to win in a big style.
Yeah, the first game was very nice, I thought. Just after queenside castling, this inclusion of a3, a5, I think is just not that great for her. I mean, regardless, my attack on the queen side comes pretty quickly, even if the pawn's on a7. But yeah, I have a hook to latch onto, so b4, c4, and I was pretty proud of that game.
You should be. You just smashed right through. The second game, we were wondering, did you have and let's just pull this up. We'll go back with the moves all the way to the beginning. And we see this line that you need a draw, and you say, I'm sacking a pawn for compensation. Did you think about it twice?
No, I mean, theoretically, this line is very sound for black. So I thought there should be no issues. And also, in my opinion, it's practically kind of difficult for white to play. Okay, so she picked this knight h3. Engine already likes black. I think black just has very easy play in general. So yeah, probably didn't play the best, but regardless, it's she had to play castles, king h1, knight g1 just to get her knight back in the game. And her queen side was pretty much undeveloped for the whole game.
Were you aware that this is a Bobby Fischer move?
No.
Did you know that it was Bobby Fischer's birthday?
I did not know either of these things. Sorry, Bobby.
Just, you're a little bit young, so...
You have to cut me some slack.
I know, of course. You were born what year?
2003.
He died in 2008, and his heyday was in the 70s, so
yeah.
we forgive you. We're
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Older folks. But, we have to feed you this kind of information for you to remember for the future.
It'll definitely, it'll stick in my mind from now on.
Perfect. March 9th, remember that. At any rate, as you said, you had this nice play. What were you thinking as you got this compensation? Because at one point, I saw you play a very solid move. The king move, the queen move was one. The king move, the bishop move was another, and then the king move. You play these three moves in a row. Were you sort of saying, well, what are you going to do? You have to beat me? Or were you preparing your attack more and more? Were you thinking G5 here as well?
Okay, obviously G5 was something I was considering, but the thing is, the impetus is on white to kind of prove something with her position, right? Also, especially given the match situation. So, I thought slight improving moves. Here, I think king h8 was actually kind of inaccurate. I should have played king h7.
Proved to be later.
Exactly. Well, it was hard to kind of tell in advance, right? But king h7, I was like, I don't know if there's some situation where center gets opened up and this diagonal could become weak.
Right, with the king sitting on this square.
Yes.
May I ask one question? When you played king h8, did you realize b4 would be hit by e4 after you traded?
Yeah.
So that's the reason?
That was the first thing I checked.
That was the thing you wanted. Okay, I was wondering if that was a note, because you did get this fantastic position after e4, and then suddenly she was under terrific pressure. And here, the very paradoxical knight f6 was the best move in the position, but
should have seen that one.
Yeah, the knight. We were talking about backward knight moves, very tricky to see for players.
Well, here's the thing that I wanted actually. So I wanted this knight f4, everything that kind of happened in the game. And my entire idea was that knight c4 always runs into some sort of either knight h3 or knight takes g2. So we could go ahead. Okay, and here I realized I originally intended knight takes g2, we advance, but the problem is now there's knight e5, and now this king is really booty on h8 because I want to take on e1, but then f7 is
check.
Yeah, check.
Yeah, that's I hate when that happens.
I was pretty sad about that. So
suddenly your
it
position
should have been all the way back there.
Yeah, but to realize that all the way back when is very tricky.
No, I should have done it, Maurice.
No. You know that's.
I have high standards for myself.
That's good to have high standards, but damn, I've seen all that in advance. Would have been deep, especially when queen c2 happens. That's a check. You still might have to play defensively in the end, but nevertheless, this position. Now you're in trouble. I mean, the
honestly,
two bishops, the pawn.
+4.
The engine is screaming that technically you should go down.
This is only depth 19, so it's not a good engine. I bet if you let it run long enough, it goes down to zeros.
I bet you if you give this to Yasser Seirawan, he beats you 98. Yasser, should I say 99? Times out of 100. The other 2 times is because he was busy telling long stories with a drink in his hand. And even then, he might still beat you.
No, I mean, yeah, this position really sucks, but she's kind of low on time, so that was my main hope.
Yeah, that Queen C7 was gnarly, and you knew that this was a blunder.
Yeah, Queen D7, this was my only trick. Bishop D4, rook takes D4.
And it worked. Well, you're now at 2-0, and you get to play your bestie, Alice, again.
Yes.
I saw you smile a lot when you get ready to play her. You didn't really have a smile on your face when she won that second game, though, yesterday.
Aren't you funny, Maurice?
I'm just
Thanks
saying,
for
you
bringing
didn't.
that up again.
What's your attitude going in now? Do you need to maybe be a little bit more belligerent and hostile, or is Alice just too nice and you love her too much?
Nah, I love that kid. She's great. But yeah, just I think Blitz was pretty rough for me yesterday. I had my chances, but kind of blew them. So played kind of bad.
All right, well, you get another chance.
Yeah.
And we do have a gift for you because you're the first winner of the day from Q Boutique. I think you've been through this before.
Yes.
So here's your gift.
Thank you.
And
Should I pull
you
it
can
out?
show the audience what, some chest socks.
This is good. I'm running out of clean socks. Yeah.
I don't think we needed to hear about that, but okay.
Oh, no, don't worry. I have just enough for the end of the tournament.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That I think everybody will
I packed
appreciate.
like 30 pairs of socks. It's crazy. Oh, and also a scarf.
Look at that.
This is super cute.
All right, well, enjoy that, and we'll see you tomorrow. And we'll be back for the final qualifier as Fabi takes on Levon to play against Wesley.
What does playing in this event mean for you personally?
It's truly a great pleasure to be playing again, and I'm very aware that unless I drastically increase my rating, this could be one of my last. So I hope to give it my all, and let's turn this into absolute mud fights.
Well, winning it, I mean, would be a great accomplishment. It would bring me a lot of pride to be able to win it. I've only won once, and it was in the first edition in 22, and since then I've struggled, gotten close, but not quite there. So I'm hoping to bring back that 2022 year.
Yeah, for me, it's a chance to still, test myself against some of the best players in the world. I mean, we have Fabi, who is a candidate, and not only a candidate, but it's probably one of the favorites candidates. So we're talking about really top players and, of course, the top US players. And for me, it's always a test, like a chance to see where I'm standing, especially as I'm taking these breaks. You wonder, like, what's my current level? And it's a good chance to measure that, and hopefully I'll be able to show some good chess.
Well, I'm very excited and very grateful, first of all, to have a career. Without the St. Louis Chess Club, I wouldn't be a chess professional. So I'm very grateful that they even have this event. It's become a tradition, it's where all the top US players come and congregate and play and show who's best.
Well, I've always really liked this event. I think I've played it since it started in 2022, and there I did pretty well, and I think one other year I've done quite well. So I think with the format, obviously I'm playing a lot of the same players that I've played many times, but the different formats makes it different, and also with the double elimination. It also gives me a chance to play matches against them because I'm usually playing them in just a regular tournament. So it's more exciting for me, and it gives me a chance to beat some of them. I have beaten some of these players in these mini matches before, which is really exciting. So yeah, for me it's just a chance to play against and try to beat some of these guys that are the best in the world.
I mean, it's an honor to play with the best players in the country almost every single year. Playing a match format with great players is always, doesn't matter if it's classical or blitz, it's always helpful for your chess, so I'm very happy about that.
Well, I started off slowly. First couple of American Cups I wasn't doing well, and then I got in shape, and now I think this is my tournament. It's knockout, and I like it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's somehow been a long goal of mine to play this tournament. Yeah, for many years now. And I've always just kind of slipped out of the rating grass. I've always been on the boundary, and now I'm finally here. And I'm always kind of looking forward. So, now that I'm kind of here, I'd like to, really crack into before it might have felt like this was the leap, but now it's like, I feel like those guys like Fabi, Wesley, Lanier, Levon, they still kind of have an edge over some of us, the youngsters. And so just trying to cross that bridge to get to that level and just, getting further and further. It's honestly wonderful to be here, but then, there's always just a little bit more that hopefully I could try to strive for.
Welcome back, everyone, and let's take a look at our results so far today. We saw 2 rapid game matches. Carissa managed to knock out Tatev Abrahamyan.
Eventful rapid games.
Oh,
look at nobody can draw.
And Fabiano started with a win, but he lost the second game. Levon came back, and now they're heading to the Blitz playoffs.
Absolutely. Levon will start with white in the Blitz playoffs, and again, the players will have 3 minutes apiece to start the game, and
2-second increment.
Every move they make and complete by pressing the clock, they'll get a 2-second bonus.
And here's what happens tomorrow. The grand finals begins. It will be first of 2 classical games. We know in the women's section that's going to be Carissa against Alice Lee.
Right.
And we're still waiting to see who is going to join Wesley in the grand finals.
Exactly so. And Maurice, for both Levon and Fabi, I mean, this is a very, very big Blitz match.
Yes, indeed. Both these players have won this event before. They each won it once. The Hikaru Nakamura won the other 2 editions. So they know what it takes. But congratulations, you know what it takes. Only one of you is going on from here. So my feeling is Levon feels like he has some sprinkly dust, angel dust maybe, on his side. He gets into trouble and then somehow he gets out of it. He goes behind in the match. He comes back and wins it. He blunders a piece, but I'm having fun. And somehow he's just been able to just survive and last. And he says, I'm playing myself into form. I'm not in the form I was in last year. I realize that. I also see that I'm blundering regularly, so I'm used to it. It's what happens. So I'm not really fazed by it. Just keep on playing. And this last game, you go down against Fabi and you're thinking, man, you're supposed to go down, and then the guy wins again. Levon just seems like nothing is fazing him in this competition. Fabi, though, looks disgusted.
Yeah, but the grand finals is at stake. Big prize money, big difference. You win first prize
75,000.
versus being third.
The money influences these guys, but frankly, they've got money.
No, they're chasing titles.
They
I
want
agree
titles.
with that.
That's right. They want wins.
They want the success. They want the trophies. No question about it. I'm just saying that for a Blitz match, it's a big difference between third prize and potentially first prize,
Absolutely.
along with the pride and everything else that goes with that. But yes, I agree. They're playing for trophies.
Can Fabi come back after yesterday's awful day for him? And
Right.
today, this second game, also an absolute shocker for him when he missed Bishop F6 and collapsed immediately.
And the whole thing, too, when we talk about what else other than money, other than titles, there's pride and there's self-confidence.
Right.
And you could damage a lot. If you told me, I'll give you less money, but you get your pride, the title, and your self-confidence surging.
Right.
I said, you keep the money.
Right.
I said, please, keep the money. Because if I feel like garbage, I'm going to say, no, what? Well, I got the money, but I feel like a complete idiot.
Right.
I don't want to walk around with that feeling. So that's what Fabi needs with the candidates really just a little over 2 weeks away, where he's going to have to play one of the biggest events of his life. He's been there before. He wants to go there with his chest puffed out, saying, that's right, I'm the man everybody has to look at.
No question about it, but he's got to not think about that. He's got to readjust and get into this game as we have a repeat of the Rossalimo, not the previous line, E7, E6.
In the previous game, Fabi played g6.
Exactly.
So he switched it up for this game.
A different approach altogether with e7, e6. And of course, what black is wanting to do is play knight to e7, play the move a7, a6, kick the bishop away. Whoa, okay, this is a very, very different approach. Levon is surprising us all with his choices. Whoa, okay.
I tried already.
You
play bishop d3 here, right? I think I've seen this before.
Well,
bishop e2.
But there was also queen takes b5 there a moment ago.
They're definitely in.
They're in their prep, but I got to see that situation after queen b5, because Fabi recaptured on c6.
They also have to adjust Yasser. They were just playing rapid where they had 10-second increments.
Exactly.
This is a completely different time control.
It really, really is.
3 minutes, you're already in time trouble, and you only get 2-second increments, so you can never really gain time in this time control.
The way I see it,
2021 with the white pieces against St. Louis's own Darius Schwartz. And Levon's last move deviated with the move knight a4 from that game, and they're now in different territory. Fabi, in his game, after Castle played rook to b1, but Levon opted out for knight to a4, and so finally we're in a different position.
Yeah, as I see it, there's two approaches that white might take. The first approach is the most direct, f4 playing for f5. The other is more of a positional squeeze. You're anticipating that black wants to play d5 and or d6, so you play the move c5 so that you can en passant and split the pawns, black's queenside pawn structure. So I'm guessing g2, g3, and Levon is thinking queen c2, and let me pressure this backward pawn after b3 and rook c8. Still early as far as the opening is concerned, but I don't know, Maurice. It feels to me like Levon will be pleased with the outcome.
That said, we are following a game between India's brilliant player Divya Deshmukh, who's just had a fantastic result at a recent event. Remind me, guys. Prague, yes, Prague. I believe she came in third place in the challengers group, and she had this with the white pieces back in 2024 against a previous Carriers Cup winner, Valentina Gunina.
Oh, yes.
And in that position, Gunina played e5. Fabi has played the move c5 instead, and black had won that game, by the way. So despite the positional edge that we see white certainly has in terms of the pawn structure, black was able to pull out the victory here. But now we are in new territories. Fabi's c5 was a new move, at least for our database, in this position.
Thank you, Maurice. The desirable f3, just protecting the pawn on e4, would allow bishop takes g3 sacrifice. I therefore thought that queen c2 was an automatic, which would defend the pawn on e4, attack the pawn on c5. Levon surprised me with the move rook c1.
He's allowing bishop e4.
Inviting the capture bishop takes e4. I'm assuming he wants to play bishop takes c5 and pardon me, knight takes c5. Why trade bishop? Knight takes c5 in order to make a discovered attack against the queen with
but
knight
here
takes
Fabi
e6.
could sacrifice the exchange, take on c5, and after bishop c5, play queen b7. I was inspired by your sacrifice in the last game.
Well, thank you very much.
And have this strong bishop and queen on the diagonal. It's playable.
The engine
loves material.
It doesn't like the creative human spirit.
Yes, yeah, it hates it.
That last move burned a lot of clock, though. Look, he had this huge time edge. And he's taken all this time to finally take on e4.
How about that?
Okay, we're not guessing the moves.
I am not guessing the moves either. Bishop takes c5. I thought knight takes c5 made a lot of sense, but bishop takes c5. Levon wants to play a queenside majority, does he?
Also, there's some tactics, because right now, if you take on c5, I take with the knight. Your bishop's under attack. Pawn on e6 is under attack.
Right. That I appreciate. That looks pretty decent for
Bishop d5.
But I was thinking bishop to d5 to
cover the everything.
Well, I'm protecting the pieces. We just saw Tatev defending her bishop by protecting the bishop and losing the game.
Yes.
Shockingly losing the game. Bishop takes, queen takes, knight c3, and
wow,
a surprise for me, rook d8. I really thought knight would come back to d5.
Isn't white happy
Well,
here?
let's see what's going on. Let me update my board with the live. Sorry, it takes a little bit. I'm catching up. Pardon me? What is that?
Isn't white happy in this position?
No, ecstatic.
Plus 30-second extra for Levon.
This is, I mean, this is a dream position as far as I'm concerned for white. Better minor piece.
Easier to play.
A bigger target. There's no targets in white's position. You can't say the pawn on b2 or a2 targets. This is the pawn on d5, the pawn on c6 are clearly under duress, and maybe even, can I play queen takes a7 and win a pawn?
Yes, they could go to the end game, but the queen is so pretty on d4. I don't want to trade it yet.
It's beautiful. It is beautiful, but there was a
Ooh,
pawn.
that's a blunder. Queen takes d5, last rank.
That would be embarrassing.
Instant win. Queen takes d5 is, and that is
Fabi forgot about
that would be
huge
embarrassing.
blunder.
And he spots it, does Levon.
And
20 seconds.
Levon hasn't seen it. He hasn't
Oh,
seen it.
look at this. He
He hasn't seen it.
And he missed it.
Mutual blunder. Wow.
Mutual blindness.
Blindness,
Yes, exactly. Very, very common, even at the highest levels, will still exist,
Still,
right?
Rook d5 is still
Rook
on the
takes
board.
d5. He's missed it the first time around. He's missed it the second time around.
That's what happens when you have 14 seconds on the clock. You just don't
Wow.
see the tactics.
Okay, that is really quite the shock, I must say.
Fabi finally covered his
But
last
no
round.
time.
E6 is played.
There's no time.
Levon spent so much time, yet he's down to 8 seconds now.
But that's a very good move, isn't it? That hits the rook, sets up queen takes a7.
You want to
yes.
completely abandon your king, though, right? Queen f6, queen f3 is coming.
Well, I'm
Levon
a
is
pawn grabber.
in serious time trouble as well.
I'm a pawn grabber. Queen takes a3. I'm proud of it too.
Ooh,
By
queen
the way.
f4. I think Fabi's coming back in the game.
But nobody's got any time.
Nope.
That 3 minutes has just gone off the board, and now you see they're in hustle mode. Now boy, did they pick up the pace. I still love White's position. I still love White's position. Even I'm getting more and more excited for Levon's position here.
There is some compensation though.
Rook to see.
Rook c6 looked very good.
Looked very good. He did not do it, but you can tie him up with rook e1, rook e5.
But the Black's d-pawn is
b3.
pretty good
It really
composition.
rook e5 and rook a5 was.
They're
Really,
both just trying to survive the seconds. It's all about 2 seconds, making every single move instantly.
and Levon was ready with bishop. Wow, what a move! He played that so fast.
Yeah, I think Levon's about to be up the pawn, but it is all about the clock.
F4.
2 seconds.
There's tricks. There's tricks.
Levon is seeing all the tactics.
But
with knight forks, right?
h3.
Nice.
Now you play rook takes and
A4.
a4.
A4. Very
But
nice.
wow, I got to give. Rook e5. No, rook e3 check.
This is scary.
And now
Don't allow knight e3 check.
King takes b4.
Uh-oh.
Fabi will-
There's an a pawn, and knights hate having to deal with a pawns. A5.
But he has an h pawn. Who's faster? White looks
Much faster, I must say.
Rook
Oh,
e5.
there's a mate.
Where?
Rook
On
f7 mate.
Oh, you can take an a6, right? That should be winning.
King c5, but you're right. a6.
a6 and king c5. Yes, the knight cannot hold. Oh, now it can. Bishop a4 was winning.
But he's
Now it's a
chasing
draw
down the
because
knight. He's chasing down the knight.
H pawn is very fast.
Bishop to d5, perhaps? King.
H2, king b knight is ready to sacrifice itself for the pawn.
Well, normally
Fabi's
speaking,
up to
you're
11
supposed
seconds.
to put
He's
your
playing
bishop.
so fast. Levon down to 2 seconds. Are they going to make a draw?
I think this should be a win
This is
for
a
white,
draw
but
now. Nope,
There's
it's-
no
it's a
way
draw.
of winning the tempo. Well, get your bishop to h1.
And then the black king now comes in also. Oof, Levon might actually flag because he keeps falling down to 1 second.
And he's finally put the bishop on h1 and the
Okay, wow. Fabi saved
wow. Okay.
was a
Wow.
mess.
What a miss by, what a save by Fabi.
Both of them had a lot of tactical opportunities, but when you have 5 seconds on the clock, you can't
They-
see anything.
They were playing this wonderful game, looked almost like a classical game, and then the players looked and saw they had it like 5 seconds each, and then it went into crazy mode. Maurice, that's great. I love that. And what a game.
There is not much to say about this one in terms of the accuracy, if you will. There were a number of missed opportunities.
That was a brawl.
And that's really what it came down to. We could talk about, yeah, you could have played this, you could have played that, whatever. The reality is you have to survive, and these two are some of the best survivalists on the planet. They just played, and you got to make the next move. Instincts have to be good enough to survive. And even though they are big-time competitors trying to get to the next stage, they're not walking away from each other and getting in any kind of mindset. They're curious. Maybe you should have played that. Maybe you should have played this. Friendly chatter, friendly banter. We'll just play another game. You know, we're here to enjoy ourselves, and we're not enemies. And this draw between the two of them sets up another big game in this elimination bracket with Fabi now with the white pieces. And they're just treating us to a show.
Absolutely.
And it has been a great show. There was a missed opportunity with bishop a4, as
There
you
are
spotted.
a lot of missed opportunities in this game.
Wow. I think the players are more relieved at the moment. I mean, it's friendly banner, but they still have to decide who's getting to the grand finals, who's going to be facing Wesley. So, you think Wesley is in his hotel room watching the
Of
game?
course, he's watching and seeing. He's probably preparing against both of them at the moment,
Exactly.
but he's waiting to see who exactly he's going to face tomorrow.
Well, I must say that for me, Levon showed a way of playing against the Rosalimo that was unfamiliar to me, and he got something. He got a nice edge. Quick question. I had right out of the opening because right here, after knight takes c6, very quickly, the knight was recaptured.
Or instead of the bishop on b5?
Exactly, and don't we try to win the two bishops out of the opening? Isn't that what we're
taught that, but
and
second
guess
game
what?
begins.
We don't even have a time to double check the game as we are in a queen's gambit decline. Bishop g5. Now there's the bishop f5 ending. If he wants it,
I was
h6
expecting a Ragozin, actually. These two have played Ragozin against each other a million times.
with bishop b4.
Yes.
Okay. Now bishop f5. And by the way, there was bishop d6 in that last moment too. Bishop f5 developing the piece.
Quickly played f3 by Fabiano. Is he preparing g4? Yes. It's on the board.
And that's
H4.
why I love as black getting in the move h7, h6 with the tempo, because the bishop has an extra hideout on the h7 square. Okay, knight b6, not necessarily jumping with the knight to c4, but just making room in case b5, knight h5 is not a calling. There's the d7 square. Okay.
And in this position, so often white doesn't castle and just puts the king on f2, right?
That's right.
Not spending time on castle, just hide the king on f2.
I kind of feel there's no reason. Okay, maybe you would like to play bishop b4, knight c4 now, recapture with the knight on h7. Okay, I can imagine why Levon is thinking, choosing between bishop takes d3 and bishop b4.
There's also bishop d6 option. This is his first think.
His first real think in the game.
First real think in the game, and yep, he's going down on the clock a little bit, but big decision, knight c4 immediately.
Right.
But it allows you to take and play e4.
Bishop takes...
No, I was going to take on c4.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Bishop takes c4.
And
it's
e4.
funny because you went bishop f1 to d3 takes c4.
It's called a fake out, right?
Yeah, and then play e4, and yes,
yeah, why
you
not?
are definitely fading the bishop.
Fabiano has done it.
Look at that.
It looks good for white now.
Actually, it really does. The more you just let it settle in, how is this bishop ever going to get back into the game? Conversely, knight e2, and I'm not necessarily... I'm looking forward to queen a4 and castling long, because I do think that I can pursue an attack.
Since you wanted queen
g5.
a4, Levon played b5.
Okay, let me just update my board. Bishop takes c4, b takes c4, e4, b5, queen d2. Yeah, like you said, I wanted queen a4 and maybe queen to a6. No. Levon said, I'm putting a kibosh on that idea before you even consider
But what to do now for black? Do you play... You want to play bishop d6 and trade, but you can't. There's e5. You can't get rid of that strong bishop on f4.
No.
So you just play bishop e7 maybe?
Queen b6? Is this a prelude to rook d8 or castle?
Gonna castle alongside.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, of course.
Rook d8, no castle.
Rook d8, but okay, castle?
No, we castle along. I still like the king on f2 and attacking it on g2, but...
Or king
f1,
G2.
That would be safer at the moment.
Okay.
Because there's also always g5, right? When is the right time to push g5? And Fabi said right now.
Asked and answered. G4, G5. And Levon said, I'm not interested in opening up the H file, which would end up hitting my own pieces. But Fabi said, look, after G5 takes H6, there's an issue. It's a very big issue. Ooh, that's an ugly looking king side. And
can we just take the pawn? Bishop h6?
A woman after my own heart.
I
certainly would ask that question. Can I take the h6 pawn?
I don't
Fabi
see
is
anything wrong with it.
There's a trick on bishop takes e4, bishop takes
you have
f8.
in between moves, yes. He's done it.
Said,
he's up a pawn.
Oh, there's no question. I'm now playing bishop to g5. If you want to trade bishops, do it on my terms and open up the h.
Levon had to play only move f6, but it's such an ugly move, weakening the king side even more.
Two ugly bishops.
Levon's only hope now is that he plays c5 and maybe creates something in this. Oh, f5.
Precisely. He's got to go for it.
Yeah.
Right now, his position's terrible. He can't sit and let Fabi just build up his position once again with knight f2. Bishop g5, knight f2. It's an extra pawn, and Levon hasn't answered a central question that we have in an opening. Where does our king go? Where does the king go?
There's some c3 ideas because black king is on e1. There's also c3 ideas, right?
C3,
With bishop
b3,
coming.
b. Exactly. And there's tricks with f4 suddenly. Wait a minute.
He's taken on e4.
Well, that's a little bit of a reprieve now.
They're now around 1 minute, so approaching that time trouble.
Whoa, I'm a little bit
knight.
surprised by that one. I thought f3 takes e4.
Knight f6. This is such an unusual, crazy position. We have completely open kings in the center. White's up a pawn, but look at White's pawns. So many pawn islands.
I would call this a 3-result game. It's crazy. Maybe I'd like being a pawn up, but like you said, there's c3 counter shots. And look at this, the knight.
The engine's starting to like black now slightly.
Exactly.
I saw the Evalbar drop.
I'm having trouble deciding on this king f2 move you were suggesting, just hanging out. But now bishop g5, c3.
Ooh, c3 on the board.
And I have to
Sharp.
move my queen f2? No, I didn't want to open. Wow. Okay.
They can both still castle though, right? The kings have not moved yet.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm
Queen
not
takes
threatening
d4?
mate. I'm not threatening mate. The queen b2.
Okay, if queens come off, then kings are safer, of course. So I would take and go rook b1.
I agree.
Unless that b2 pawn becomes a problem. Now king f2.
After all of that, at last, white decides that his king is going to be safe on f2. Funnily enough, now the queen is not
Yasser,
hitting.
if this game ends in a draw, they will play another 2-game Blitz playoff before an Armageddon.
Who said we were going to be in and out today and easy day? We're going to just change reservations on dinner.
Great show.
Dinner reservations have changed. Okay, queen takes, knight takes. Now the extra pawn is being felt.
But
right?
you gotta be careful. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Knight b4 was coming with knight d3 threads.
Rook c1, knight b4. Look at the Levon is tricky as always. But isn't this pawn? Can't we round it up? Can't we play rook a2 and
there's rook b1
and then rook c1?
Okay, yeah.
Oh, there. Don't forget.
Apparently, this is a blunder, and black is winning now. If Levon finds bishop e4 and then rook f8 check, and then rook b1. I think he's probably seen it. And he has 7 seconds. But
where do we put the king?
Wow, Levon
we can't
about
go
to
king
take down
e1.
Fabiano.
We can't go king. Whoa!
Oh, he's winning.
Rook g3 check, and Levon is winning.
Knight e3 check.
Oh my goodness, that protects the pawn on c2
Do we
as
checkmate
well.
that king? Rook f2.
Attacking the knight. We've got rook check. How about rook b8 to g8? Isn't that mate?
Okay, now there is mating too, right?
It's mate.
Knight g4, rook f7, mate. 3
No,
seconds for Levon?
g8 is hanging.
So, oh, wow.
But knight f5, knight g4 is mate. Levon Aronian
Takes down Fabiano Caruana with the black pieces in the Blitz playoff. Incredible result. Congratulations, Levon.
Wow.
He moves on to the grand finals where he will face Wesley So.
Wow.
That happened fast. There's a very happy Levon. Well done. What else can we say?
The tricks.
He's a trickster.
And
Absolutely.
he just tricked the best. Wow.
And this is what we're going to see tomorrow, the grand finals. It's going to be Wesley So against Levon Aronian. As you can see, they're very evenly matched in their classical matchups. They have 25 draws and 3 wins for each. Wow.
Bravo on the evenly matched. I mean,
I was not lying.
There's not too much
And
between any of them, actually.
And the grand finals in the women's section, we will have Carissa against Alice Lee, 2 very good friends, but also the top American female players, also evenly matched. That's going to be another fantastic match. Wow, I need to catch a breath because that game ended so unexpectedly.
It really did, as we wait for Levon to come down and
Because
share
we're
with us.
trying to win that pawn, right, on c2 for Fabi, and it just never happened. Instead, did you expect that white king would get mated
Of
on
course
h6?
not. No, and especially you mentioned it yourself. The moment the queens came off, I rather felt that the king was actually in a better safety spot than it had ever been. For me, the real surprise right here was that this move was losing. I mean, at first blush, the whole idea of a3 was to stop knight b4 and rook a2, because you don't expect that your king is going to get caught on the f file of g file. No. I suppose Fabi had to play a move like, and at this moment, by the way, the chess engines, you can see it felt the game was balanced or even. But after rook a2, here was the trick. Rook f8 check, and the desirable king e1 and king to d2 and round up this pawn is met by the skewer, rook b1, and there goes the rook. You lose. So that was why Fabi had to put his king in danger by putting his king on the g file.
Just white pieces disconnected. As you can see, the rooks are not connected, knight is hanging, the king is walking into a checkmate. It just all collapsed so fast. And Levon only had 5 seconds, but he figured it all out. And Maurice is with our winner, Levon Aronian.
Brilliant stuff.
Brilliant stuff indeed. And we got to change your name to the Comeback Kid because it just seems like match after match, no matter what happens, you're not thrown off by anything. This one we saw you lose the first game, and it's like, oh man, this guy's in big trouble. And this moment in the game, we saw this very pleasurable move, bishop to f6. You must have been feeling nice when you saw that move was possible on the board.
Yeah, of course, when you get to play a beautiful move, it's aesthetically pleasing, and yeah, I'm very happy the way I played in after losing that first one. Yeah.
That third game was insane. I mean, you guys had to just pick him up and put him down. It was just all blitz and nerves.
Yeah. I noticed that I played the move on 1 second, which is not a good sign. So in this last game, I told to myself, no matter what happens, just play fast.
Indeed, and he seemed to have a little lock on the position after he got that big center and the pawns rolling down. And it seemed like at that moment is when you started playing like a monster. Like you just decided, I'm attacking his center, I'm trying to break everything up.
Yeah, quite often in Blitz, I just try to play for the counterplay. I try to create some irrational position and hoping that my opponents will go astray. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Certainly worked. Now you get the chance to play against Wesley So in the finals. He's never won one of these. You have one. You pointed out a couple of years ago. You think he's going to be hungrier?
Didn't he win last year?
Wesley?
No.
Okay, I must be forgetting everybody. No, Naka won last year, no?
Oh, no, wait, but I thought Wesley won.
No, it's Fabi, Naka, you, Naka, and now.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, he's been in finals like so many times. He's a great player. And yeah, I'll try to play my best. I mean, my goal was to enjoy, and so far I'm enjoying. And yeah, I feel very satisfied that I don't just get to enjoy, but also get to fight for winning the tournament.
One last thought. You go from classical, and it's rapid, it's blitz, it's classical, it's rapid, blitz, more blitz, it's rapid, blitz, and now it's this crazy blitz, and now you have to play classical again. How do you manage the twists and the turns of this event?
Yeah, it's. I guess it's actually better to play like my path. Unless you're playing like Wesley, winning everything, this is the second best path because you get to have one rest day in the middle. So yeah, but of course it's always difficult. But we're used to this type of juggling business with the time controls. It has been forever part of the circuit.
All right. Well, you showed your stuff. Congratulations, and get your rest. We'll see you tomorrow. Guys.
Our congratulations as well, Levon, and very, very, very impressive. Tell us about the schedule for tomorrow as we get ready to say goodnight from St. Louis.
Right, tomorrow we have the grand finals, first of 2 classical games. So the grand finals will last for 2 days at least.
Right.
And tomorrow, we'll have the first classical game.
One last look at the head-to-head between the 2 grand finalists.
Right, in the women's section, it's Carissa against Alice Lee. Very evenly matched. We'll see what will happen there. If they will also play playoffs once more. And in the open section, it's Wesley So against Levon Aronian.
What a remarkable number of games between them as you get the final last words, Maurice.
Well, I got to say, when we think about our picks, Yasser, you're just completely out. And VAR is the only one who had Levon on his bingo card, as you see there. So it looks like the rest of us are in it. And for some reason, Wesley So's name is not on this list at all. So we all got that one wrong. We'll all have to apologize to Wesley for that. But it still is going to be a grand final indeed. These 2 former number 2 players in the world can still get it done as they have shown there. Each one of them knocking down first Wesley, Fabiano Caruana, and then knocking out Fabiano Caruana. So we've got 2 giants to play, and then we've got the 2 top women in the U.S. going at it. They're besties, but somebody's got to win.
Thank you, Maurice. Looking forward to it. Nancy, once again, thank you so much for joining. It's great to have you on the show.
It was a short day today.
I know, it was a short day. Maurice, too, it's a big shout out. And thank you so much for sharing your days with us, and let your friends know where you're hanging out.
We'll see you tomorrow for the grand finals. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
This has been a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club. Any reproduction or distribution of this content without the express written consent of the St. Louis Chess Club is prohibited.